Backstage. I thought I would start today like you cannot make something like this happen without this crew right here, this crew right here. Can we get these guys over here too? So I just wanted to give some love in the comments down below. Say thank you because this is a full production and you guys just get to see what's happening on the stage. I just wanted to start behind the stage today. And so let's go. Let's get ready for day 4 today. Day 4, is it day 4? Day 4? I think it is. Come on, come on, come on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up, VIPs? Backstagers, good to see you. Good to see you, good to see you, good to see y'all. Did y'all see Backstage with me? Did y'all see Backstage? Were y'all back? Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're at across the world. If this is your first day, welcome, welcome, because every day of the platform tour stands alone. You don't have to be here yesterday or the day before for today to matter. We've built this in a way where every day is a standalone day. Every day will benefit you in building your platform, getting your message out to the world, and changing this world. Every day is a standalone day. So don't think that you had to have been here any other day. Today is the most important day. And we've got 6 amazing, powerful speakers in the house today. So I'm not going to take a lot of time, but just a few housekeeping things. Every day we're starting between now and, slides guys, starting between now and Monday of next week, we are every single day at 2 p.m. Eastern. 2 p.m. Eastern every single day. So now and Monday, we're doing a bonus day on Monday. All live streams and engagement will happen in our Facebook group. So if you're not part of our Facebook group, make sure you become part of it. It's platformcommunity.com, platformcommunity.com. That will redirect you to our Facebook group. Come to our Facebook group because I know that this is streaming in over a dozen different pages and YouTube channels and Instagram accounts and everywhere through the course of this week. But we want to redirect you to the platform community because that's where all the prizes are being given. That's where the homework assignments are being had. That's where the replay of the day is being left for 24 hours. So make sure you're there. And then live stream notifications. We've got our Spanish-speaking audience here, so it's good to see them. And we also have them in another Facebook group, our Advance Your Reach page. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We have got a big audience, tens of thousands of entrepreneurs registered. It's streaming everywhere. Our speakers said $3 million worth of speakers this week. We want this, keep it up here, guys. We want this in this group. We want this in this group. And so 30 plus speakers are allowing us to stream this in different groups. Some of you might have seen that Floyd Mayweather posted it on his Instagram page with 27 million followers. So this is streaming everywhere, both English, Spanish, many groups, several Zoom rooms, and we're excited about it. So we're excited because today is a new day. Every day we have giveaways that we give away. Every day we have giveaways. And so at the end of today, make sure you stick around because we have some winners from yesterday, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to be giving away today as well. Today as well. So listen, these speakers behind me are the ones that have committed their time to say, I'm going to be here. These speakers would cost millions of dollars to get in the same room. And we're not even the halftime with these speakers. We haven't even hit half of them yet. And I'm so excited because they want to do 2 things. They want to help you build your platform and reach more people. And 100% of the profits are going back to these 7 charities. Now, we started the week with 3 or 4 charities, but I keep just giving and giving and giving more money away to charities. So while we're helping you build your platform, we're helping these charities build their platforms so they can reach more people. So if you're already gold, silver, bronze, type it in the chat. I got some big news today here in just a little bit. But if you're already gold, silver, bronze, type that in the chat. You have made a massive contribution to these charities and simultaneously a massive contribution to yourself. It's a reciprocity thing because you're impacting your business, but you get to give back. There's no other event that I'm aware of that does something like this online that gives 100% of the profits away. And so what is platform? What does the word platform mean? It is a raised and elevated surface on which people or things can take a stand. A place where your message, your impact, and your income is amplified for a greater purpose than yourself. If you don't know this, the whole week is around build your platform. We want you to build your platform so you can control the microphone and change our world, change your world. And we've been helping people build platforms for almost 2 decades. And just in the last 3 years, our students have not only impacted close to 100 million people's lives, they've generated $500 million in revenues so that they can make a greater impact in this world. This is just our students. And so most of them aren't famous. We've worked with some of the biggest names in the world. One of them is going to be with us tonight. Also helped them generate $250 million in building their platforms in the last year and a half. And so we're excited because this entire week is about these 6 pillars. You cannot build your platform or your business on one pillar. I know there's people in the market that say if you just do this one thing, you are good to go. Just do this one thing, you're off and you're sustainable. And it's not true. One pillar cannot hold up anything worth of value, anything that's trying to make a difference. Anything in the physical realm, a pillar can't hold it up. But anything in the actual platform building and your message, one pillar can't hold it up. So these are the 6 pillars that all 40 speakers are speaking to. You got to be clear on the problem you solve, who you serve, and you got to make sure that you're solving deep problems in this world. You've got to be a world-class communicator. You've got to have products and services. You have to get your message in front of people who need to hear it. You've got to generate revenues. And you've got to understand how to leverage relationships to scale your business. Today, we will have speakers speak into all 6 of these pillars just like we do every single day. All of these speakers have been connected back to one of those pillars. And every day, we make sure that we address every single pillar. That's why every day is a stand-alone day. Now, you might say, Pete, I've missed some, or I can't be here every day. That's cool. This is a new slide. Next Tuesday, I will recap every single speaker, every single day. I'll identify all of the 40 major nuggets in each of the 6 pillars that the speakers talked about over the course of the 7 days. And next Tuesday, in 90 minutes or less, I will recap this entire platform tour. And we will give over $50,000 of prizes away that day. And how are you eligible for those prizes? Right now, start sharing this on your page to your friends. Start sharing this with your friends. Tag friends that need to be here. Make sure that you're here live with us and do the homework. Share this on your feed. Tag friends. Make sure you're here live with us and do the homework. Why those 4 things? Because those 4 things will move the needle with you with other people and in your own platform. And on Tuesday, we will be giving over $50,000 of prizes away, and you have to be live to be a part of that. So here is our lineup today. Here is our lineup. Steve Weatherford, Super Bowl MVP, is going to start us off around clarity and building your Launchpad. Ray Higdon's going to help you understand how to communicate your content to the world. Angelique Rewers is going to talk about building a product, a consulting product. John Gordon is going to talk about how to stand out. This man has been playing the long game. He's a guy I have so much respect for. Sean Cannell's going to show you how to build your own YouTube channel and get on other people's YouTube. And Grant Cardone is going to close us out today and be omnipresent, how to build without limitations. This guy has no limitations. This is who's coming to you today. I'm excited about this lineup today, and I'm gonna kick it off today with my good friend who's gonna start us off with building your Launchpad Super Bowl MVP. I know he doesn't look like a punter. He is the fittest punter that you have ever seen in your life. Give it up in the chat for my buddy, Mr. Steve Weatherford.
Come on, Pete, man. I love you, dude. I like those shoes you got on too, homie. You look good, man.
I thought you would like them. I thought you would like them.
Amazing. Look at that, man. Man, I'm so honored to be here with you, Pete. And just, I know that I've said this to you privately, but man, I just wanted to honor you in front of everybody. You guys have no idea what kind of man Pete Vargas is and how he leverages so much of the blessings that he has in his life to bring forth change to you. He's a guy that I knew 4 or 5 years ago, and Pete was doing good, but to see what God has done and how Pete has stewarded all the gifts that he's had and all the relationships that he's had and how he's impacting people now is just unbelievable. So Pete, man, I'm so blessed to be on your team. I'm so blessed to be here with all of you all today to build our platform. Because at the end of the day, man, the most precious thing that you have is your story. So I just wanted to honor all of you all for A, for wanting more out of life, but for B, for doing the work, for showing up, because it's not just enough to register for something like this. So right now, man, I just want everybody, if you're multitasking a little bit, just stop. You know, if the door to your room is open right now, go close that door. If you got some noise canceling headphones on right now, let's put those on. Because in order for us to get some massive acceleration, we can't multitask. So be exactly where your feet are right now and just believe that change is coming, because all it takes is just for you to shift one thought process that you have, and it can change all of your tomorrows. But before we get going, man, I want to share with you guys kind of who I am. I love Pete. Pete was a little bit wrong, though. Pete goes, hey, Steve is Super Bowl MVP. I played in the Super Bowl. I broke a Super Bowl record, but I was not the MVP. It was our quarterback, Eli Manning. So I just wanted to state that asterisk there. Thank you for the honor, Pete, but that honor belongs to Eli Manning.
Bro, I'm backstage. I did say Super Bowl MVP. I forgot you and Eli look a lot alike, but you did pin them inside the 10 more than anybody else.
I love you, man. So I'll just quickly share with you guys kind of like the Wikipedia version of who I am. My name's Steve Weatherford. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I've been married for almost 15 years. And about 2 months ago, if we had more time, I'd show you pictures because I'm real proud. But about 3 months ago, my wife gave birth to our 6th child. So I've got 1 son, 4 daughters, and we just had another son. His name is Kingston Kraft Weatherford, and he was 12 pounds and 3 ounces. And just a little side note, man, I wanted to honor my wife. I'm sure she's not watching this, but for all you women out there, you guys are the true MVPs. My wife inspires me so much. And I really, really, truly mean that. We added it up the other day. Pete, my wife has had 60.3 pounds of children come through her body, man. So my wife is the MVP. And for the rest of you ladies out there, man, we love you. We honor you. And that's who I am, man. I'm a family man. Yes, I have a supplement and a wellness company. Yes, I have a coaching and consulting faith-based business mastermind. But at the end of the day, man, at my core, man, I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ. I'm a father, man, and I am here to help shift the way that you think. We've got 78 days left. 78 days left in this year. Pete, to me, man, that is so crazy to think about, because this I feel like at the beginning of this year, we were just waiting for like the pandemic to end to get back to normal life. And I feel like little piece by piece, we're moving back into that direction. But this craziness has really shifted and kind of probably screwed up a lot of the different goals that we had for this year. But we've got 78 days left, Pete. So it doesn't matter right now as you listen to me. If this was the best year that you have ever had in your marriage, in your business, in your life, in your physical fitness, or if it doesn't matter if this is the worst year that you've ever had, or it doesn't even matter if this was just a year where you kind of felt like you were just kind of floating through and not really making any progress anywhere. It doesn't matter how you played the game. It matters how you finish, Pete. So I want you guys to hear me right now, and I'm going to pause. And I just want everybody, and I don't care if you're watching on YouTube, I don't care if you're watching on Zoom, I don't care if you're watching on Facebook. I just want everybody to get into the comment section right now and just write finish. That is you giving your commitment to us, because we're banded together as a family right now. We're banded together. So what are you going to do in between now and the end of this year? And sometimes that's not about like picking habits up. I want you guys to understand in this platform tour, Pete's put some incredible people together that are bringing 40, he calls them golden nuggets. And so you get to pick and choose at the end of this platform tour, which one of these nuggets we want to integrate into our life, into our business, into our marriage, into our physical fitness journey. You get to choose that. But in order for you and I to pick something up, I don't know about you guys, but when I came onto this call today, I got a lot going on. I feel like I've got my hands full. I've got my son standing over here to the right. My wife just dropped me off. I've got, I had dropped kids off at the school. I just got back from a business mastermind that I hosted in San Diego. I'm busy, man. My hands are full. And I'm assuming if you're here on this call, you're a doer, just like us, just like Pete, just like me, just like Floyd Mayweather, just like Tim Tebow, just like Emmett Smith, just like Sarah Blakely. You're just like us. But there's one thing that Pete was able to do a couple of years ago and something I was able to do 4 years ago that really changed everything for me. I was able to put some things down in order to make space for some new habits. So understand, when I'm challenging you guys for these next 78 days, and I'm challenging you to focus here right now, there's things that you need to put away in order for you to upgrade. Example, I asked you to shut the door. I asked you to put some noise canceling headphones on. I wanted you to stop doing some things. And so you and I can start to do some things, because that's what I believe. In order for us to take territory, we have to be solely focused on what we're trying to do. So in the fourth quarter, bringing this back to kind of like the athletic conversation, because being an entrepreneur, building your platform requires a lot of the same character attributes that an athlete did. So what do we do in the fourth quarter? It's great to finish, but if you feel like you're a little bit behind in the count, as a football player, you go into the fourth quarter and the score is 35-17, and you're the one that has 17. What do you and I need to do? We need to talk to every single person on our team, and we need to let them know it's time to go in on a full court press, guys. We need everybody to stand up and go all in. If you have a talent, if you have a gift, if you have a product, you have a service, it's time to go all in on developing it, because it's the things that we lay down and pick up right now and practice that are going to end up bringing the fruit, bringing the money, bringing the freedom, bringing the security in 2022. But you and I need to start practicing those things right now. So Pete, thank you again for bringing these 40 golden nuggets. And I'm believing that there's going to be one more golden nugget that's going to be delivered to you in about the next 9 minutes. So I'm going to pause right here and actually have my son come on here. I'll have you sit on my lap real quick. This is my beloved son, in whom I'm well pleased. His name is Ace. He's 13 years old. He is so important to me. And I actually asked him if he would be willing to open us up in just a quick 30-second prayer for us to set the stage.
All right. Dear Father God, thank you for this day. God, we just ask right now that everybody's heart is open today, God. Yeah. We ask that minds are open to you today, God. Yeah. We ask that hearts are open to receiving you today, God. We ask for a hedge of protection over every single one of these people today, God. On the Zoom call, we ask right now, God, that everybody that is listening to this, that they drop down everything and they just focus for this next 8 minutes, God, so that they can receive you. So we ask all these things in your name, amen.
Amen. Love you, boy. Thanks for doing that. All right, guys. So we're talking about the full court press in the next 8.5 minutes, man. I want to share with you how you and I can get clear about where we're at, and we can take our product, we can take our service, we can take our life, we can take our marriage, we can take our relationships and launch it into the stratosphere. But in order for you and I to be able to do that, we got to figure out who we are, guys. Looking at my notes here. So the next thing that I wanted to do with you was explain to you the 4 different components. And I'm going to switch my my view here, right? So right here, there we go. Can you guys see that, Pete? Can you see this well? Give me a little thumbs up here.
Turn me on. Yes, I can see it, dude. I'm backstage. I see you.
No, I know you are, man. Thank you. Get some water, hydrate yourself. I know you're.
I'm doing some push-ups, bro. Now, since you stood up, I'm doing some push-ups.
Guys, I'll make sure my microphone's good here. So this is the launching pad, and this is the thing that you and I, even before we set out on our journey to achieve our goal, we have to build a foundation. I don't know if you guys like my my artistry here. Now, granted, I'm a punter, dude. This is about as good as it's gonna get, but that's supposed to be a rocket ship. That's you. You're a rocket ship. You have gifts. You have a specific purpose in your life. And I'll tell you this, there was a study done about 4 years ago in Sweden, and it discovered that 99% of your DNA and my DNA is exactly the same. Your DNA is the same as Pete Vargas's. You have the same gifts that everybody else has inside of you, but they're unique. There's only a 1% difference in between Pete and in between me and in between you and in between the next speaker. But that's the part that I feel like you and I hide. So in order for us to launch into the stratosphere, we need to get our launching pad straight. And our launching pad is going to be split up into 4 different portions. So I want everybody to draw a square on the piece of paper that's in front of you. If you're not taking notes right now, I highly encourage you to take notes, especially for these golden nuggets. You're going to want to go back and look at what your notes were. So you're going to split it up into 4 components. The first component, I want you to write, who am I? And then in the next component, I want you to write, whose am I? In the third component, I want you to write down what matters most. And in the fourth component, I want you to write discipline. Now, the reason that these are important, guys, is because think about if you and I are a rocket ship and you and I have a goal that is 1,000,000 miles away. Let's say we want to get to the moon. And these 4 different corners of this launching pad will determine the trajectory and the vector with which we pursue our goals. So doesn't it make sense that you and I figure out who we really are and get that corner of our launching pad down? Because I've lived portions of my life where I kind of like assumed the identity of who I thought I needed to be in order for people to like me and buy my products and services. And that didn't work for me because you know what happened? Some of those goals I got and they didn't make me feel any different. So I want you to build a platform that means something to you, but that is true to you. So who am I? I want you guys under this, I want you to write identity because that's what this is, who you are. Now, whose I am. Underneath this, I want you to write purpose because that's what you and I are doing on this life. Like a Super Bowl, that's a goal. You know, graduating college, that's a goal. We can go out on different goals and missions, but I'm talking about purpose. So you got to get clear on what your purpose is. And the third one here is what matters most. And to me, that's my core values. So we're not going to write, I want you to write core values right here. And the last one's going to be discipline. And I'm going to put my camera back here and talk to you for 2 minutes, and then we're going to fill this in. Okay. So now that you have the 4 different corners of it, it's very important for you to establish who am I? And I want to share with you really quickly who I am as an example. And I'm going to share with you whose I am as an example. And then I'm going to share with you my core values. And then after this, when you guys have a little bit of time later on, I want you to develop your own contract, your own personal I am statement, AKA your identity. And then I want you to develop your core values. So the first one, my name's Steve Weatherford. I'm a man of integrity, honor, and accountability. I'm a son and the warrior of the One Most High. So in that top left corner, I write integrity, honor, and accountability because that's who I am. So everything that I say and everything that I do and everywhere that I invest my time or my money, I ask myself, would a man of integrity, honor, and accountability do this? And so you get to spend a little bit of quiet time in prayer and meditation to figure it out. What is my identity? And then in the second one, whose am I? That's my purpose. And that was the second part of that I am statement. I am Steve Weatherford, a man of integrity, honor, and accountability. And my purpose, I'm a son and a warrior of the One Most High. So I know when I wake up every single day, I'm not here alone. And so that allows me the ability to move in confidence, to move in faith, to eliminate fear, because I know that I'm not here alone. And the third component, that's going to be what matters most to me. And that's core values. And I want you guys to understand core values isn't something you just order off of Etsy and put on your wall. It's something that you practice into who you are. So I'm going to share my 5 core values with you and why. Number 1 is going to be honor, because I believe when you honor, everything works the way that God wants it to work. When you honor your body, it works the way it's supposed to work. When you honor your wife, marriage works the way that it's supposed to work, right? So that's honor. Number 2 is positive attitude. I was an athlete pretty much my whole life. I have never seen an incredible athlete with a negative attitude. So I choose to have a positive attitude. My family chooses what matters most to us is a positive attitude. So that's number 2. Number 3 Number 3 is generosity, because I believe when you and I are generous, we're most like God. Number 4, leadership. And the reason my family and I chose leadership is because we don't want normalship. We want to be in the front of the pack, not to be the best, but be the best that we were created to be. Does that make sense to you guys? So we're talking about honor. We're talking about positive attitude. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about generosity. And lastly, we're talking about excellence, because in my family, I am committed. Whenever I do, how I do anything is how I do everything. And that's core values. So those are my 4 core values in the 5 core values. The reason I share those with you is I want to give you an example of how you can build your launching pad, so you can take your product, so you can take your service, so you can take your story and take it into the marketplace, take it into the world, and launch out. And the last part of this, guys, and we'll go back over to this board, we're talking about discipline. So it's great for you to know what your identity is. I'm Steve Weatherford, a man of integrity, honor, and accountability. Well, that's great, Steve. Unless you're disciplined in walking this out, those are just words. Purpose. When you know who you are and whose you are, guess what, guys? You and I are always going to know what to do. And core values. And that's the best place for you to find people to run the race of life with. Find people who value what you value, but until you establish what's most important to you, you can't recognize what's most important to you in other people. That's why Pete Vargas and I have aligned, because Pete values what I value, man. My purpose on this earth. God gave us 2 assignments, guys, to love him and to love his children. That's why I've aligned with Pete Vargas. Pete loves God. Pete loves his children. And this is his opportunity to be able to share his gifts, his talents. And I'm doing the same thing with you, because I want you to live your best life. I want you to have your best marriage. I want you to have your best body. But until you and I get these 4 different corners set up, because this only has to be 1 degree off, guys. Discipline could be 1 degree off. And we're 100,000 miles away from where our ultimate goal was. And all we had to do was recalibrate this here, now, foundationally, before we launch off. This is the platform tour. But unless we get our platform right, once we launch off, we're going to end up going where we don't want to go. So it's so important. And I'm going to end on this. It's so important for you to know who you are, whose you are, what matters most, and then to walk it out, guys. Change my camera here real quick. And the last thing I wanted to share with you guys, Pete, how am I doing on time, cuz? I'm sweating.
It's all right, bro. You went to the 2-minute warning. You went over the 2-minute warning, but you're good, bro. You're good.
Okay, I'm gonna read this.
Close it out, bro. Close out your final thoughts. This is good stuff, man.
I just want to read you guys one thing. Give me 60 seconds, Pete, and thank you. Life is going to be hard, guys. And at the end of the day, we get to choose what our heart is. And I'm going to read something to you. This is called the Habit Poem. And I read this to myself every single morning. This is the way that I recondition my brain to choose my heart during the day. And I highly encourage you. You guys can print this thing out, tape it on your bathroom mirror, and read it every single morning to take on your day. Choose your hard, Pete. Being your best is hard. Being normal is hard. Making wise decisions is hard. Making bad decisions is hard. Being in shape is hard. Being out of shape is hard. Losing weight is hard. Being fat is hard. Working out is hard. Being weak is hard. Being disciplined is hard, guys. Being lazy is hard. Getting out of your comfort zone, like coming on the platform tour, is hard. But staying in your comfort zone and living life the same way is hard. Making a lot of money is hard. Making a little bit of money is hard. Having great relationships with people like Pete Vargas is hard. But you know what? Not having any friends is hard. Fighting for your marriage, and I know this, guys. I had to do this, and I know a lot of us do. Fighting for your marriage is hard. But I'm unwilling to experience how hard divorce is, so I'm going to fight. Living on purpose is hard. Living off of purpose is hard. Doing life God's way, guys, I'm telling you, it's hard. Doing life any other way is hard. And at the end of the day, guys, we got to choose our heart. If you want that poem, I would love for you guys to text message me 949-763-5934. Pete, I love you so much. Guys, tune in. Lean in, focus, and build your launching pad, because this world needs your product, your service. They need you. Pete, I love you, man.
I love you too, bro. I love you. He just punted it, baby. He just punted it. Man, give it up for Steve. Give it up for Steve, guys. Like, seriously.
Thank you,
an incredible friend of mine. Thank you, Steve. I'm so grateful for you. And so, guys, here's what I want you to know. We have to get clear on our launching pad. You got to get clear on these things. Because when you get clear on these things, you fight for these things. I'm so excited about this next gentleman here that's going to be with us, and we're going to keep this rolling because I want to make sure that all 6 pillars get tackled. And this guy's going to talk about communication, but he's also going to talk a little bit about products. He was one of the guys last year who was one of the most noted speakers at the back end of Rise Up World. People loved him because of the simplicity of what he brought. He brought something so simple, but yet so profound. I remember it. I remember the studio he was in. He produces content like a machine. And when you produce content, you serve your customers or future customers' needs. And all of a sudden, that's when they come into your world. You can't just be a one-time content producer. You've got to consistently produce content. John Lee Dumas said that's one of the things he does to stay disciplined. And so I'm so excited, and I'm going to turn it right over to him. Would y'all give some love for my good friend, Mr. Ray Higdon? Give it up for Ray, everybody! Give it up for Ray!
What's up, Pete?
What's up, bro? Man? Well, bring the noise, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I'm honored to be here. You know, Pete and his crew always put on an amazing show, so I'm honored to be a part of this incredible lineup. It's just amazing, and so I'm honored to be here. So let's hop in. The clock is rolling. There's really three main things that I'll talk about. I'll talk about how to have a never-ending supply of ideas for content. Then I'm going to hit you on why you're not consistent, because I know, and I'm going to share with you why you're not. And then lastly, I'm going to give you some advice if you're struggling on who you should be serving. And so these are 3 very, very big things if you're wanting to succeed online, if you're wanting to succeed, with any kind of business, no matter what your business is. So very quickly, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, maybe I'll share with you my story. So I am someone I came from a very abusive home and grew up with massive self-worth issues. And my way of coping with that was being a workaholic. And so being a workaholic, I worked my face off, worked my way up to, the corporate ladder to a pretty good salary, only to realize that the harder I worked, the more they would pay me, but the more they would demand of me. Had 2 kids at home that I barely saw, and I just didn't want that life for me. So I went into real estate, and I work in real estate. Flipped a couple hundred homes, had 37 rental units at one point. Then the market crashed, and then I got wiped out. So, here I was in 2009, dead broke, personal foreclosure, $1 million in debt, went through a divorce, sleeping on my buddy's couch and feeling like a loser. And, I went through several periods of my life where I hated myself so much that I would avoid mirrors. I didn't want to even look at myself because that's how much I hated myself. And so if you've been through trauma, if you've been through tough times, if you've been through abuse, I get it. I understand. I totally understand and relate with you. And I'm going to come back to that toward the end. Now, since then, I guess I should probably say I'm not still in that position, right? So since then, let's see, I first went into network marketing, which, a lot of people aren't, fans of network marketing. I acknowledge that. For me, it's a very low risk, low overhead way for the average ordinary person to start a business. A lot of people that would never be in business are able to get into business because of network marketing, because of its low risk, low overhead. And so I joined this, little network marketing, business when I was dead broke and in foreclosure. And there were a few things that I did, and I became the #1 incomer in that company, made millions of dollars. Since then, we mainly coach and train network marketers. We've generated over $30 million in the last few years. We now have a software solutions company that helps membership services and helps leaders better work with their teams. And so we just, we love what we do. A formula that I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to give you, I believe last year, I shared the first half of it. I'm going to give you the full formula today, and that it is ILTEE. It stands for, you might want to write this down, invest, learn, teach, execute, edify. So ILT is your path. And it's funny, Pete just mentioned John Lee Dumas. When I shared this with John Lee Dumas, like for years, he talked about this because he just loved the concept so much. So I would get text messages from people that saw John speak and be like, hey, you just mentioned it. It's pretty cool. And so ILT is your path to an unlimited number of ideas for content. So invest, learn, teach means you invest your time, possibly money, to learn something and you teach it. So there have been many lessons that I've learned from Pete and Pat Quinn and so many other rock stars that I simply put into my notes and then do a live and share my notes and edify them, which I'll get to that other part of it. And so invest, learn, teach has you not needing to be the expert or the guru or the super credentialed person. It just means you need to be doing what you're doing right now, which is you're investing your time to learn something. And the component that most people don't do is they just don't teach what they learn. So they make all these great notes and they're awesome and they're like really well organized and, digital or on paper. And then they, chuck them in their corner and they never do anything with them. And so ILT encourages you to simply take what you're learning and share it on online content, whether it's a short video like TikTok or Instagram Reels or now Facebook Reels, or if it's a longer one, YouTube, Facebook Live, et cetera. And so ILT is your path to have unlimited content. If I was going into something that I knew nothing about, so let's say what don't I know anything about? I don't know anything about meal prepping. Right? So if I want to dominate as a meal prepper, I'm going to get around other meal preppers, interview them, learn from them, take notes from them, read articles about meal prepping, find out what are the best solutions for plasticware or whatever for meal prepping, and I will become an authority in meal prepping, even though I start from nothing. I'm learning from other people's stuff. Now, it's not plagiarism. I'm going to edify whoever I'm learning from. I'm going to share, who I'm learning from. And that's what brings us into the second part. The second part is execute, edify. So you're learning a lot of strategies here. You just learned from Steve Weatherford. It's just amazing, incredible energy. He talks about your Launchpad and everything else. Well, if you just learn and you don't execute, then you're not able to really edify. So when I say edify, I don't mean edify like I learned this from Pete, right? That's cool, right? And cool people edify in that way. But I mean edifying in a very different way, edifying from a place of results. What did you generate from what you learned from that person? And so I'm going to give you two quick examples. So I think it was last year, maybe, I don't know, early last year, I spoke at, or maybe it was the year before, I don't know. I spoke at Grant Cardone's event, and Grant, who I love, and I know he's on today. I gave Grant $100,000 for 6 hours of his time. And some people hear that and they're like, oh my God, right? Well, in hour one, he gave me a different way of thinking about our events that added $1 million to what we made that year. So 6 hours, 100 grand, 1 hour made me $1 million. I spent about 17,000 or whatever for that 1 hour, but that made me $1 million. So I invested, right? Money in that case. I learned, I shared my notes from my meetings with Grant. I executed those notes. Then I edified Grant, ILTEE. And guess what happened? Guess what the natural thing that happens? When you do that, when you execute and edify from who you've learned, guess what? They want to highlight you. And so Grant gives me a call and he's like, hey, Ray, I'd like you to speak at my event. I think that's my Grant. Sorry, it's the best I can do. And so you'll be going on after Magic Johnson. I'm like, oh, okay. And so, I go out to Vegas and I'm up for a pretty short amount of time. But if you ever want to know the key to getting on more people's stages, it's that execute and edify. Be willing to execute what you learn from them and then edify them, not just for the learning of it, but for the result that you created. So I told everybody, yeah, I gave him 100 grand and in 1 hour, I made $1 million. And that is true. It's absolutely true. I'll tell you one more quick story, how I got on Russell Brunson's stage. So Russell invited me to a mastermind back in 2017, and he had just written a book called Expert Secrets. Great book, highly suggested. And so I'm going out to this mastermind. I'm like, you know what? I should probably read the book, right? Because, you know, that may come up, and, you know, I'm honored that he invited me. So let me read the book. I read the book and I'm like, dang, man, this is amazing. I should launch a membership. And so I launched this membership called Rank Makers, which is for network marketers. I launched this membership. And, you know, as of right now, we have a little bit over 12,000 people in there that pay $20 a month. And I give them instructions on how to grow the network marketing business. And so I learned from Expert Secrets. So, right, ILT, I executed from what I learned. And then I edified Russell and shared with him what my results were. And so much so, you know, our results were so good. I don't show this very often, but he actually, you know, sent us one of these. And if you look, you know, this is my $10 million, you know, what he calls 2 Comma Club X award. That little membership funnel that I got the idea of from him has generated over $10 million. And that's as of 2019, right? And so that is a perfect example of execute, edify, and people want to highlight you. And so just to, you know, quickly, I want to quickly recover what I just covered. ILT. So you're sitting here with all of these amazing gurus, right? You've heard from Floyd Mayweather. You've heard from, you know, several just amazing, amazing people. Simply convert your notes to content. Take your notes, convert those notes to content to start attracting more people to you. Now, that is one of the core things that I did to become the #1 income earner in a network marketing company, generate tens of millions of dollars. And I am psychotic about this. You know, I did at least one video a day, every day for over 11 years. And that was from July 15, 2009 to mid-July this year. Okay. I didn't miss a day, even on our honeymoon. I got up before she was awake and I did a video. And so that was my, you know, I'm a psychotic about this. I'm nuts about creating content, putting it out there to attract people to me, because I just see that as my purpose. My purpose is to help people that want to improve their finances and their relationships. So that's part of my purpose. And hold on, I just want to see, I'm trying to see, the clock is white on white. Okay. All right. I'm checking the time. And so ILT, just in this event right here, this event should give you at least 30, 40 days of content. And if it doesn't, you're just not doing it right. You're not taking enough notes. And so now let's talk about the next subject here. The next subject is why you aren't consistent. You think it's information. It's not. And I can tell you from coaching people, every single person I've ever coached that struggled with consistency, it was not information. It was emotion. And so I've coached people to find out what is that program that has them drawing the wrong conclusion to success. So if you're not consistent, it's because you're drawing the wrong conclusion to success. It's best to give you examples around this. So if you saw a family member or mom or dad go and make a bunch of money and then lose it and get ridiculed, and life got bad and life was terrible and they became miserable or they split apart or whatever. If you saw that as a kid, up and then losing it all, you may be drawing the conclusion that success only means that it's going to be a hard downfall, so you'll avoid success. You may want it, you may dream of it, you may affirm it, but you'll actually sabotage yourself from being successful, so that from being consistent, and which would lead to success, because you don't want to lose it. So if you don't want to fall off the mountain, just never climb it. Right? Another common one is if you had successful parents, but they ignored you, they didn't give you the kind of love or attention that you wanted, you as a child may have drawn the conclusion that, you know what, if someone's successful, then, you know, they can't spend time with their kids, or they can't love their kids as much. And I don't want to do that. I love my kids. I'm going to go the exact opposite of my parents. So you'll avoid success. So the reason that you're not consistent is because you're drawing the wrong conclusion to success. You're drawing a conclusion that was created when you were a younger person, when you were sometimes, 5 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, whatever, but you observed something that set a little latch in your head. It just set a little latch that said success means this. If you have siblings, you may find yourself that you are resistant to recognition. So I had a client, she said, hey, I think I need money mindset training. And I'm like, what makes you say that? I mean, if you've made $1 million with your company, like, why do you say that? And she goes, well, every time my network marketing company wants to edify me, or, now they want to do a video about me, I just really get nervous. I really don't want to do it. I hate it. I hate getting recognized. And I said, do you have siblings? And she's like, yeah. And I said, which sibling were you? Were you the one that got the good attention or the bad attention? And she's like, well, I mean, I got good grades and I got, I guess, good attention. And, my sister, she was always the troublemaker. She got bad attention. And I'm like, yeah, your problem is that you created a program that good attention to you meant bad attention to your sister, which made you feel bad. And you still have that program running. But the thing is, it doesn't have to be the case. You don't have to think that way anymore. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't help you. It's not causing harm to your sister. So you can eliminate that program. And so she got rid of it. But see, that's something that no book would have walked her through that process, right? You kind of got to, you got to look at things a little differently to, I got to look at the clock again. White on white was bad because I'm seeing the clock, it's white. All right, cool. And so I can tell you right now, if you're not consistent and you're in Advance Your Reach platform tour, it's not because you're lazy. It's not about laziness. It's because you've drawn the wrong conclusion to success. Always, 100% of the time, I guarantee you, if you're in this. Now, if I go knocking on doors and I just pull random people out, and I can't accuse them of that because they may be lazy. You're not lazy. You're serious about your dreams, or you wouldn't be on here. And so I can tell you with 100% certainty, the reason you're not consistent is because you're drawing the wrong conclusion to success. And there's a lot of people that I've coached around that. If you'd like to see some of those sessions for free, it's on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Ray Higdon page. And so I've coached a lot of people, and I coach people live. And so we just come out there. I'm like, what's going on? And they tell me, and I'm like, your problem is this. And so it's kind of fun, right? So if you want to check that out, that's facebook.com/Ray Higdon page. Last thing I want to share with you here is what really helped me is, and what I think will help you is help who you used to be. Help who you used to be. So I used to be someone that really struggled with self-worth issues. I used to also be someone who was a workaholic. I used to be someone that thought because I confided in a guidance counselor in the 3rd grade about my abuse, about how I was thrown against a closet every morning, how I was, stabbed in the chest because I wouldn't eat the vomit out of my cereal one day, how I would go to school with the turtleneck because the claw marks on my neck were so deep, right? I had such self-worth issues, and I had such a high sense of betrayal. I kept everyone away from me. And I'll tell you a little secret, that includes Pete. I even blocked Pete out, right? And I don't know if we're supposed to get personal in here or whatever, but I kept, until I had this understanding, which only happened in the last 2 years, I kept everyone at bay, everyone at arm's length from me, because I didn't want to be betrayed, because that's what happened to me. And that's what flipped a little switch in the 3rd grade, that I was just going to be betrayed if I let people in. And so by me going through that and becoming aware of that and altering that, now my relationship with my wife, with my kids, with my friends, with my colleagues, with everything is way better than it's ever been, right? My whole life. And so I can tell you that if you can serve the person you used to be, the person that used to struggle, maybe you've lost 10 pounds and you got more to go, help the person needs to lose 10 pounds. Maybe you've had self-worth issues or betrayal issues like I have. Help that person that's on that path. Help that workaholic. Help that person that you used to be. If you've been through trauma, help that person who's been through trauma, but they need to hear more examples. They need to hear your story. And so three things: ILTEE, invest, learn, teach, execute, edify. Write that down. That will write your ticket to any goal that you have, really. Number two, why you're not consistent. It's because they're drawing the wrong conclusion to success. And number three, serve who you used to be, and you're going to feel really great about your purpose. Thank you so much for having me, and back to you, Pete.
Man, dude, thank you, Ray. Dude, first off, thank you for sharing that and just a breakthrough. I want to have a conversation about that offline between me and you, and maybe next time I'm in Miami. Like, I really want to understand that more. But what he does, guys, is just it's so simple and so profound. Like, listen, here's the thing. I mean, you could easily, like, think about this. If somebody just heard Ray in your community, like, let's say you're sharing this on your page. There are several dozen Instagram accounts, pages, YouTube channels. This is being streamed more places than we've ever been streaming anything. Spanish speaking, English speaking. Imagine if you shared it and you just simply said, hey, I'm gonna bring you back my biggest nuggets from every day, but I wanna share this amazing content. Like, you could implement exactly what he just said right there with leveraging somebody else who's brought together great people like Ray, just right here. Ray, one of the things I don't want to get too in depth with, but a lot of people don't cover this, and I want to show this them on their screen really quick, Ray, and I'm going to bring you back up on this shot here in a minute. But listen, this week we've said there's 17 products and services that you can actually have in your business. And Russ Ruffino talked about group coaching on day one. On day two. I talked about Russ talked about number 1 and number 3. I talked about number 2 yesterday. We're not trying to talk about all of them, but Ray, I actually love number 5 because number 5 is what got me through college. And Grant Cardone, who's here today, said, if you would have given me a network marketing company that does all of the distribution, let's bring Ray back up, to bring all of the distribution, all of the everything, I could have built the business fast. I'm an advocate for a lot of people. This is not a network marketing push, but I think the industry gets a bad rap. It's how I got started in business, because I didn't have money. So maybe just for a quick minute, I'm an advocate for the industry because I think it's a great first step. You're no longer in the industry, but you got started there too. So can you talk about that for a quick second?
Yeah, I remember, speaking at one of Russell's masterminds, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna bring up my friend Ray Higdon, who does, he's a network marketing trainer. And you could feel the groan. It's like, like people weren't looking forward to it. And I'm just like, hey, listen, here's how I see network marketing. It's a low risk, low overhead way for the average ordinary person to start a business. And the way that network marketers get judged is really unfair, because the person that is pitching you poorly is a hairdresser doing this on the side who's never been in sales, never been in business, never attended a Rise Up World or Rise Up Challenge or platform tour. They've never cracked a book open about business, most likely. The majority of people in network that get started in network marketing, they don't have any kind of sales or business background. And a lot of them, unfortunately, are falling through the cracks when it comes to training, because they don't even know that they need training. And so they have this, you have a great model of who wouldn't want to be compensated off anyone you introduce to a product or a service, right? That's all of us. But you have that person who hasn't been trained at all. And so it's unfairly judged. And so that's a message. But a lot of people, they would not ever be an entrepreneur if it wasn't for network marketing. Yep. And I have clients I have one client that brings home $1 million a month in network marketing. I have another client that has $750,000 in his organization. He's made over $250,000 a month for 14 years. That's pretty crazy, right? And it's not like he's worked really hard all those months or all those years. And so network marketing is something that's awesome, but it's because it's so low risk. No one's starting a restaurant, with a couple $100. right? But people start a network marketing business every single day for a couple $100, and they just don't have the knowledge to back it up. And so they're unfairly judged, I think. Are there bad characters? There's bad characters in everything, man. There's no industry that's void of all bad characters. So there are bad characters in network marketing, just like any other industry. But it is something that has paved the way for a lot of people, millions of people that would have never been in business without it.
Yeah, dude, I love that. And I know you're going to be backstage with us, and we might just do a little coaching with Ray backstage today. So guys, give some love to Mr. Ray Higdon. Give some love to Mr. Ray Higdon on all social channels, everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And so guys, let's bring this slide back up really quickly. The reason I want to advocate is because I want you to know that there's options. I want you to know that there's options. I was in network marketing. It got me through college. I couldn't have started my entrepreneurial journey without it. I'm grateful for it. I'm no longer in the industry, but I've seen the beauty of it. And so I just want people to have a product or service. I want people to have a product or service, which is why we're bringing different people to talk about different ones. And one that has been one of my favorite this year is number 10, consulting. Consulting was the biggest product and service revenue generator for me and our company in 2020. The number one. And so I wanted to bring the best of the best to you to come speak to that. And so for the next 18 to 20 minutes, I have someone that I wouldn't call upon anybody else to speak to this category. I'm going to let her get right into it because we're a couple of minutes behind today. So I'm going to let her jump in. She is phenomenal. She is the expert on consulting, and she's going to help you become the undeniable authority to land the biggest consulting deals of your life. It's a great way to start your business. Give it up for my buddy, Angelique Rewers.
Oh my gosh, Pete, I'm so excited to be here. First, I just have to say thank you for inviting me to be a part of this amazing experience. Thank you for putting together this epic, life-changing experience for entrepreneurs all over the world. Thank you for the money that you are raising for charity. If there is one expert on this planet that every entrepreneur needs to learn from, it is you, Pete Vargas. So I am so excited to be here. In case you missed that introduction from Pete, I'm Angelique Rewers, CEO and founder of the Inc. 5000 company, Bold House. That's H-A-U-S, in case you're looking for us. And as Inc. magazine said, we are the undisputed champion at helping small business to land big clients. And that's exactly what I want to help you guys do, especially in the consulting space. But before I get into that, I want to rewind the clock just a little bit to something that Pete said earlier this week. He said the reason we're all here on this platform tour is because we want to change people's lives. And he said something really profound. He said, it's our moral obligation. It's our moral obligation to get our purpose out into the world. And I will tell you guys, there is no better way to do that than to offer consulting services to major organizations, whether the big sexy brands we all know, those fast-moving startups, colleges, universities, associations, nonprofits. Why is that? Why is it the ultimate force multiplier for you? Because it's going to affect your authority platform, your impact, and your income. And I want to dig into that for just a second. When you're thinking about your authority platform, guys, there's a lot of ways to buy authority. You can buy your way onto the New York Times bestseller list. You can buy your way through sponsorship onto major stages. But one thing you cannot buy is having brands like our clients at Bold House have on their website, their client list. Brands like McDonald's, Facebook, Instagram, BMW, Mercedes, Delta, Coca-Cola, Verizon, Sephora, Philosophy. When you're working with these organizations, that gives you undeniable authority, which means you can build an even bigger platform. Let's talk about impact for a second before we get to income. When we look at impact, Here's the thing that I love about working with these kinds of organizations, you guys. Just one yes gives you the opportunity to impact the entire ecosystem of that organization, their employees, their customers or their clients, their communities, even their suppliers, including diverse business owners who are selling to these organizations. So just one yes from an organization for you to go in and do consulting with means that you're impacting tens, hundreds, thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of humans on this planet, like our Bold House clients are doing. So we want you to be able to have that kind of impact. And of course, we want you to be making significant income in your business so that you can create financial freedom in your life and so that you can give back to the world the way Pete is doing through this incredible experience. So let's just talk about some numbers here for a second. And then I'm going to actually give you guys a simple 4-step funnel to help you get these consulting clients and even figure out what consulting to offer in the process. So we're going to get into that here, you guys, in just a second. But I want to talk about the money first, because money does matter. Business is the pursuit of profit, right? And then with that profit, you can do anything you want with it. Let's start with the consulting numbers here for a second, you guys. Just in the United States alone, there's over $56 billion a year spent on consulting services. And I'm talking about strategic consulting services, not IT consulting services. I'm talking about working with experts here, $56 billion. When it comes to coaching, leadership coaching, all around the world, including the United States, there's over $20 billion a year being spent. And then when you look at employee training programs and employee development programs like workshops and seminars, all over the world, including in the United States, there's $357 billion a year being spent on those services. And you may have heard that statistic before, but I promise you, you haven't heard this statistic unless you were at our Bold House annual conference last week in Fort Lauderdale, because we brought in Doug Harward, who is the CEO and chairman of trainingindustry.com. You guys, that's the largest industry association that there is in the employee training world. And he shared with us a show-stopping statistic. I didn't even know this statistic, and it is my business to know these statistics. Of that $357 billion that's being spent on employee workshops and trainings, which is a gateway to offering consulting services, right? Of that $357 billion that's being spent in the United States and around the world, 90% of those dollars are being spent with small business owners who are making $2 million or less a year in their business, 2 million or less a year in their business. That's where all that money is going, you guys. So we want to help you tap into that. And let me say this, if you're selling consulting services, you better be selling coaching and training programs too. And if you're selling training programs, you better be selling coaching and consulting services with it. It's crazy to leave that on the table. There's just too much opportunity for impact and income. So you want to do all of it, even if it's your team members that are helping you to deliver it with your bench members. Pete has built one of the most amazing bench teams in the industry, as have we, and that's how we're able to impact so many people's lives. So you don't have to do all of it, but please, guys, don't leave that impact and income on the table there. Do the consulting, the coaching, and the training all as one. So how do you do this? How do you get out there and start offering consulting services to these organizations organizations who are spending hundreds of billions of dollars on these kinds of services? Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to tweak your mindset to recognize that what you're really in the business of marketing is marketing conversations, because these kinds of decision makers in these organizations, they don't buy off of a website. They don't rush to the back of the room with an NCR order form, you guys. You have to win a conversation with the decision maker. So you are in the business of marketing conversations. So what I want to do is I want to share with you a very simple, low cost, low tech, if not free, if not no tech, marketing funnel to help you get into those conversations so that you can sell these consulting services. And here's a little trick. Step 2 of this process is going to allow you to figure out what type of consulting to offer, where to focus your energy and what they need, because it gives you the power to be a fly on the wall. So here's the 4 steps, you guys. Step number 1 is you're going to go out and you're going to speak. You're going to do what Pete said on Tuesday, is leveraging other people's stages, OPS. And listen, Pete's team does way more than just this, but he is the king of helping you to win stages. So I don't need to spend any time on that. I'm going to let Pete spend time on that. But step 1 is to go out and speak on other people's stages in person or virtually. Step number 2 is to make an invitation to your corporate audience, right? You have decision makers, you're out speaking in front of these organizations, decision makers from these organizations. I want you to invite them to participate in an invitation-only executive roundtable discussion that you're going to facilitate. I'll tell you more about that in just a second. Your 3rd step in this funnel is to then invite those people who participate in your smaller executive roundtable to then have a private conversation with you where you're going to share with them additional insights that are just for them, as well as share your capabilities, what you can do. And in that conversation, you're going to find the thing that is most urgent for them in that private conversation. Remember, I said it's all about winning that conversation. And then step 4, in that conversation, you're going to help co-create a solution to help them. And we have a proposal template you guys can use from us at Bold House. You can find it on our website in order to seal the deal. So here's what you need to know about step 2, those executive roundtables. I'm going to do a little rapid fire, so have your pen ready. An executive roundtable, you guys, can be done either virtually over Zoom or live in person if the situation around us allows for that. If it's a virtual executive roundtable, it's 1 hour. If it's an in-person executive roundtable, it's 2 hours. If it's a virtual executive roundtable, I want you to have 8 decision makers from these companies there. If it's in person, you can have 8 to 12 because you have more time, you can have more people. You're going to kick it off with a 5-minute presentation to showcase your expertise and to frame up the conversation. And then for the next hour or 2, you're going to facilitate a conversation amongst these decision makers to help them share emerging best practices, talk about the challenges they're having, and help offer solutions in a casual, conversational way. Now, here's the amazing thing, you guys. Why do they want to be at these executive roundtables? Because they desperately want to know what is everyone else doing in their industry and in adjacent industries and in other industries so that they can cross-pollinate ideas. They're not even coming, I hate to say it, for you. They're coming because you created a space, because big thinkers meet in small rooms. And now you get to be the fly on the wall at these executive roundtable discussions to know exactly where to focus when you reach out about having a private conversation with them. You just got insider knowledge that no one else got. You can even ask pointed questions in the conversation of, have you ever thought about doing this? Have you ever thought about doing that? And now you know exactly what they don't know, which opens the window to you offering consulting services. Now, here's something that's going to shock you. Everyone who we teach how to do executive roundtables always comes back to us and says, Angelique, if I would have known it was so easy, I would have done this sooner. And also, I would have been offering consulting, strategic advisory services to these organizations much sooner. I thought they had all the answers. I thought they knew the stuff that we know. They don't. If they did, we wouldn't be witnessing the great resignation right now. We wouldn't have millions of people walking outside of these companies. Now, you guys, why do I do what I do? Because I know that conscious business owners like all of you are the Trojan horses to go inside of these organizations and transform them from the inside out. And listen, entrepreneurs are great, but entrepreneurs can't run airlines. Even Richard Branson built a big company to run his airline. We need these organizations that have such tremendous impact on the world and on humans' lives to think differently, to show up differently. And you are the army to help us do that. So that's why I care so passionately about this. And this is why I want you offering consulting services to these organizations, because that's how you're going to create a tremendous authority platform, unprecedented impact, and the type of income in your business that's going to allow you to have financial freedom for many, many years to come. So that's what it's all about, you guys. Speak, executive roundtable, private capabilities briefing, close out with our Bold House proposal. You can get it on our website. That's going to get you into these consulting clients and do everything that Pete is telling you to do, because this man is absolutely brilliant. And one shout out to Pat Quinn before I wrap up and throw it back to you. The brilliant Pat Quinn said something on Tuesday. He said, guys, when you're out speaking, when you're out doing podcasts, when you're out doing lives, just give your audience one thing to do. And so when you guys are out speaking to corporate audiences, that one thing I want you to do is to invite them to an executive roundtable. So Pete, this has been just an epic week. We are on fire with all the ideas you're sharing. This is just incredible.
Angelique, I'm excited, and you'll be backstage with us today, won't you?
I will. I am going to be backstage. Yep.
Let's maybe structure a corporate deal for people backstage in front of their own eyes. Let's maybe walk through the proposal and walk through it. I learned yesterday that taking questions is good, but actually doing coaching or doing something real with one of the people, and I see them clapping right now, is even better.
Do it.
So we'll go put together a corporate proposal backstage. I love that you're here, and I will see you in a little bit. Thank you for the value that you provided. Guys, the number one revenue source for us, the number one thing that allowed us to grow to a multiple 8-figure company last year was consulting. It's something that people can do right away. And there are big dollars and big budgets, as Angelique just talked about. So this is what I want to do. We have 3 incredible people. My buddy, John Gordon, who I have so much respect for, Sean Cannell and Grant Cardone are still to come. But I want to show you something for 2 minutes here. For 2 minutes here, I want you to watch this really closely, and I will see you in 2 short minutes. I'm excited about these 7 days. We have never, ever, ever done something like this before. And to think that it's free is incredible. Just like last year, 100% of the profits will be going back to some amazing charities. Last year, we gave over $750,000, and this year, we are hoping to double that to some amazing charities like SCORE, which is building one of the biggest Black and Latino educational programs that is free of charge to business owners to give them the education they need to grow their business. To the Maloof Foundation, who is helping end sex trafficking in the United States, and to the Model Citizen Fund, which is providing backpacks with hundreds of items to the homeless in our country. You see, you being a part of this, we're not just gonna build your platform this week, we're gonna build those nonprofits' platforms as well.
By giving back, you rightly receive so much, thousands in value to build your platform. Our Bronze package contains powerful, proven digital resources to accelerate your growth. Our Silver package includes everything from Bronze, plus additional resources to supercharge your development using all our pillars to grow your platform. And our top-of-the-line Gold package includes tens of thousands in resources from all of the geniuses who grace our stages. We want you to change the world. Everything you need is right here.
What I want you to know is, just like last year, 100% of the profits of your contribution go back to these charities. So not one penny of that profit is coming back to me. So would you get into that mindset of just a generosity to give back and help build somebody else's platform? Because I can tell you, in these 7 days, what's gonna happen for your business and your platform will be profound. The people that I have brought to this year to help you go to the next level, it's unbelievable. You see, there is so much negativity, so much divisiveness, so much fear happening in our world, and the wrong people control the microphone. And the only way that we change the game is by helping you build your platform so you can control the microphone and change your world. And when enough of us are changing our worlds, we change the world. Would you join us? Build your platform, control the microphone, and change your world.
Hey guys, welcome back. And I just want you to know, you might have noticed something. You might have noticed that I only talked about 3 of the charities. Well, that's because we've added 4 charities. I found out about all these charities that our speakers had, and I'm like, Emmett, you get some, and Floyd, you get some. And today, I'm gonna do something very special for Grant Cardone's foundation. And so we have upped the amount of charities, which means we have a goal of $1 million. $1 million. And not only have we upped the charities, we've had probably 7 to 10 more speakers, including the majority of our 11 speakers that are on Monday say, I want to contribute. And I'm like, the only way you can contribute is if it's one of your paid programs. One of your paid programs. These are our speakers' paid programs. Usually you would go pay for one thing for $1,000 or $2,000. And now this entire platform digital bundle, it's the PhD for building your platform. We don't just have 3 charities now, we have 7 charities. And I'm also gonna be giving to Tim Tebow's charity on Sunday. I've already made up my mind, and Grant's today. So we're gonna have 8. And so the beautiful thing about this is it's for you. It serves you. It allows you to grow your platform, and simultaneously you win for the charities as well. I have made a decision today. A lot of you are kind of standing. Lisa, I see you up there like, should I not? I've made a decision because we only had about 15 speakers that had contributed something to this. And since we've gotten started, it's doubled. So on Sunday night, all 3 levels, all bronze, silver, and gold will all go up. The price will increase on all 3 of them on Sunday night, because I know how many new things are coming to you on Monday that will make that extra price increase worth it even on Monday. And next Wednesday, this completely goes away because the speakers can't continue to do this permanently. And so here we go really quickly. I want the whole screen here, guys. Really quickly, the bronze package, the silver package, the gold package, $5,000 worth of paid resources, almost $12,000, and just shy of $25,000 in our gold package. That is what you get. And in all 3 levels, we're giving a ticket to our platform live on November 12th through the 14th. On November 12th, we will award all of the checks to charity. I want it all up here. All of the checks to charity. All of the checks to charity on that date. And so I'm excited about it because that's when we will give the money and do it all. So listen, we've got a 1-pay option. We've got a 2-pay option. You can see it at platformtourcares.com. platformtourcares.com, And we want to make sure that you take advantage of one of these platform building packages. This price will go up on Sunday, this will go up, and this will go up because it's actually double the value of when I shot that video originally. You will only see this one time a year here. And then Angelique Rewers is actually including her. This is a new one. Win Corporate Clients 101 from Angelique Rewers, $1,000 program. And she's including that as part of the package. And so make sure you go to platformtourcares.com. Platformtourcares.com. There are probably a dozen things in there that are valued at the price of the silver or gold just in that one single thing. So I'm excited. I'm excited about our next guest because this is a guest that I have so much respect for. Man, he could speak to all six. I remember reading the one word. I don't know if any of you have ever had one word for your year. Anybody ever had one word for your year? Like, I have a word? Yeah, this guy was the guy who created that. This guy has been building his platform for decades. So many unbelievable books. I've read a book of his on energy, on positivity, on one word. If you go into my library, he's probably the author that has more books at my house than any other author, meaning more of his books than any other author's books. He's been building his platform for 2 decades. He's a man that I have a deep respect for. Deep respect. And I'm so excited to bring to you guys today the one and only Mr. John Gordon. Would y'all give it up for Mr. John Gordon? Give it up for Mr. John Gordon. Yes.
Pete, you're the best. It is great to be with you. No one knows how to build a platform better than you. And I appreciate all that you do and how many people you help, not just people on this, but some of the greatest speakers, presenters, influencers in the world. You have helped them. So really appreciate all that you do and who you are. You know, my journey, Pete, as you know, it began years ago when I was miserable, I was negative, I was unhappy. And my wife came up to me and she gave me an ultimatum. She said, I love you, but I'm not going to spend my life with someone who makes me so miserable. You need to change. I had just lost my job during the .com crash. So my world was caving in. I was crumbling from the inside out from fear and stress and pressure. And she gave me that ultimatum. I knew I needed to change. And so I began working to become a more positive person. I wanted to be positive first for myself and for others. And I remember saying, God, what am I born to do? Like, why am I here? And I'll never forget, writing and speaking came to me. I never wrote and spoke before, but it came to me. I said, all right, I'm going to start doing this somehow, some way. I didn't know what I was going to write and speak about, but I knew I wanted to talk about positivity because I loved being positive, and that's what I needed the most for myself. Like, we teach what we need to learn. And so positivity came to me, and I started that process of doing that. And I was researching all the ways that I could be more positive. It was during the emerging field of positive psychology. So I started sharing these tips with people. I started a newsletter. This was the best thing that I've ever done. This was way back in 2002. I started a weekly newsletter where every week I would share a tip and I would send it out. And I started with 5 subscribers. My mother, my brother, my best friend from college, they were getting the newsletter whether they liked it or not. And that started to spread. Like, people would actually share that with 3 other people, then 5 other people. And it started to grow every week. I started to share it. To this day, it is the most valuable thing I've ever done in terms of the response I get. Like, when a book comes out now and we promote it to our newsletter list, it automatically becomes a bestseller. But I have to tell you, initially, it was always about providing value. Like, when I started this, I wasn't thinking about selling anything. I wasn't thinking about a platform. I didn't know any better. I just started this newsletter to share value and provide value. I still write the same newsletter years later. No one else writes it. I write it years later, every week, a newsletter. And it's so important to share value with people because they receive that value and then they want more of what you have to offer. So we do promote our offerings in the newsletter, but it has been epic in terms of how that has led to more speaking, consulting, training, and everything that we do. Initially, all I did was speak and books. And so people would book me to speak from the newsletter, and also they would buy my books from the newsletter. But I tell you this, like a post on social media, Instagram, Twitter, those are great to promote something, but nothing generates a response like a newsletter. That was essential. So we started this newsletter, and every week I would share a positive tip. And then slowly but surely it started to spread. And then I started to go speak because I remember reaching out to a famous speaker. I said, hey, I want to do what you do. What should I do? And he told me, just speak. Speak to everyone and anyone you can. And I went out there and I spoke. And guess what? I gave 80 free talks to anyone who would listen. And I was working on my craft. I was getting better. It was small audiences. It was friends, companies, you name it. The more I did it though, the more I felt like, okay, maybe I could do this. Maybe I can make a living from this. I remember someone saying, hey, we'll give you $500. Great. I remember someone saying, hey, $1,000, then $1,500, then $2,000. I remember saying, okay, I'm now a $5,000 speaker. That's what I'm going to charge. And I remember getting $5,000 thinking, wow, I won the lottery. I'm getting $5,000. But it started out with all these free talks, just doing the work, sharing the message. I created a website from the very beginning saying, hey, this is what, I do. This is who I am. I had a news section. There was no news. I had a current event section. I had all these different offerings that we offered. I was projecting as if. And then I went on a tour around the country. I went to all these different cities to speak, and the Energy Bus had just come out. I wrote a book called The Energy Bus. And that book was initially rejected by over 30 publishers. I was told to give up. It's not going to happen, but I couldn't give up because I had my mission and my vision. I want to encourage you. You have your vision and your mission. And mine was to inspire and encourage millions of people, one person at a time. It was all about making a difference in that one person, and then also reaching millions. And so I kept on hoping, kept on dreaming through all of the rejections. And finally, John Wiley and Sons agreed to publish that book. I was so excited. I remember it was coming out. I asked a friend, what should I do? He said, pray. So I prayed for it to be a bestseller. It came out, it was a bestseller. In Korea, I learned you have to be specific with your prayers. It was like this huge hit in South Korea, not North Korea. But now one bookstore in the United States would carry the book. So I said, okay, I'm going to go on this tour now around the country and share the message. I reached out to our mutual friend, Daniel Decker. He became a friend. And I said, hey, would you want to do some PR for this promotion, for this book tour? And he said, yeah, sure. There was actually one other guy I was considering, but something told me to go with Daniel. It was two guys I had a choice between. I went with Daniel, and Daniel was calling up. Like, we were just starting out. We were just going for it. And every city I went to, like, we didn't have a lot planned. We didn't have news. We didn't have media, but Daniel would reach out to the local radio stations, the TV stations, and he would say, hey, John Gordon's coming. He's internationally known. And I was internationally known. I had one friend in London, right? So I was internationally known, and I was big in Korea. It was a huge hit in South Korea. So I was internationally known, and we were putting it out there. And you know what? Different shows had me on, different media hits happened, but the events were not very popular. We had 5 people in one city. We had 10 people in another. We had 20 in another. The most we had were 100 people in Des Moines, Iowa. They thought Jeff Gordon was coming. That's why they showed up, the race car driver. I remember I got home from that tour, and it wasn't wildly successful, but at the same time, I knew that I just had to continue doing this work. I mean, it was a little frustrating, to be honest, because I wasn't sure what the future held because it wasn't a lot of people on this tour that came to see me. But I knew I just had to do the work day in and day out. Vision and mission. You got to keep your vision alive. You got to keep your mission focused. We don't get burned out because of what we do. We get burned out because we forget why we do it. And when you know your why, you will know the way, and you won't let obstacles get in the way. I really believe I was being tested on that tour. Like, is this really about the mission, John? Or is this about you? Is this about being famous, or is this about making a difference and doing the work and making an impact? Is this about being positive and overcoming all the negativity in the world? Because that's what the Energy Bus is all about, overcoming negativity, adversity, challenges with greater faith and belief. Your positive energy must be greater than all the negativity. Your certainty must be greater than all the doubt, right? I had to live my mission. I had to live the message I was writing. And so you will have to do that on this road that you are on this journey. If you really have a message and you're really meant to share it, you will overcome all the obstacles along the way to do the work that you are meant to do, that you were born to do, to make an impact in the lives of others. You add value to others and you become a person of value. That's how it works when you make a difference. When you help others grow, you grow. When you help others improve, you improve. I had to learn that lesson along the way. So I get back from this tour. Again, I don't know what the future holds, but I know I'm going to just continue to do this work day in and out and make a difference. Took 5 years for the Energy Bus to become a bestseller, 5 years. And now, just a few weeks ago, it was on the Wall Street Journal bestseller list. We're talking 15 years later, it still hits the list. My last 5, or I think actually last 7 books have all hit the bestseller list as a result of focusing on this mission and message. I want to share with you a story that really highlights what the key is to doing this work is when you want to build a platform and you want to grow. So early on, right after that tour, I had a good friend of mine from college, and he had a resort in Pennsylvania, Woodloch Pines, and they had a beautiful spa they had just built there. And he said, John, will you come do a retreat here? So I went there to do a retreat, and they had 100 people signed up. When I got there for the retreat, only 6 people were in the room. And again, I was being tested. John, is this really about the vision? Is it really about the mission? Is it about making a difference one person at a time? There's only 6 people. Are you going to do this work? I was like, yes, I got to do this work. I gave these 6 people everything I had. Years later, about 5 years ago, I get a call from Avon, and the president of Avon is Betty Palm. Betty Palm was one of those 6 people in the room that day. She was just a person, part of an organization, not even a major leader. Over the years, she became president of Avon. She brought me in to speak to Avon because she remembered that day, the difference I made. She remembered actually what I even talked about that day. And she brought me to speak to 6,000 people, from 6 to 6,000. That's what it's all about. You never know who is in the audience. You never know who is listening. You never know when you get out there and do the work, who you will reach. The key is you got to show up every day and you do the work with the message you're meant to share. And over time, you will reach more and more people. And that 6 will lead to 6,000. Now, as I started to write and speak, we offered action plans. That's something that we did that was really helpful. We offered action plans for each book, and we get people who order these action plans from our website all the time. They're downloadable PDFs. They're like $12 to $14, and we sell a ton of action plans that way. Again, it's just an ancillary product, but people just seem to love those products, and we offer that to people. We started to create videos that people would use based on each book, and that is something that is very popular as well. And then years later, not right away, I knew I wanted to do this work first in terms of building my platform, building my message. Then I started to offer training based on my leadership program, The Power of Positive Leadership. So I wrote a book called The Power of Positive Leadership, and then The Power of a Positive Team. One program was about developing leaders, helping them become great leaders. The other one is about teams becoming stronger teams, because all my work has been with leaders and teams over the years. After the initial impetus of the Energy Bus, different leaders started to bring me in. I started to work with their leaders, work with their teams, and that led to really understanding what makes a great leader, what makes a great team. So I wrote these 2 books with the mindset that I was going to create programs based on them and develop an organization around them. And so now, like Pete teaches, when I'm on stage, I'm talking about the message. I'm so passionate about positive leadership, right? I'm so passionate about it. I'm talking about what makes a great leader. I'm sharing value. I'm sharing principles and practices. But now we offer training on top of that you could actually take. It's a full day program to become a better leader, to improve your leadership. And that's a way to implement the practices that we're talking about. So now it's not just a keynote. It's now a program you can implement. And then we created a Train the Trainer program that allows you to actually teach this lesson, teach this program to others. So you can get certified to be a trainer who teaches it, who wants to then develop other leaders. So you're not just a leader, you're now a developer, a trainer of leaders, helping them grow. So the way I see it is now I can multiply myself. I could actually have a ripple effect where my new mission is to impact and develop positive leaders around the world, as many as possible, right? It's to inspire and encourage, but it's now also to develop leaders around the world. And you share it from the stage, you promote it from the stage, you talk about the programs and the principles, and then you offer that training on the other side of that. But that wouldn't have happened if I didn't spend the time along the way trying to invest in people one person at a time. And there are 3 words I want you to take with you as we come to a close. I don't know how much time I have fully, but it's love, serve, and care. If you remember these 3 words, love, serve, and care, they will help you build your platform and help you grow. Don't focus on building your business. Focus on ways to love, serve, and care, and your business will exponentially grow. We don't often hear about that. I wrote about that in my book, The Carpenter. It's the principle and the basis of which I built our company. But guess what? It's the way that everyone builds a great organization, a great company. You love, you serve, and you care. You first have to love it. If you don't love it, you'll never be great at it. Pavarotti, the famous opera singer, was asked about his incredible discipline for his craft, for his work. He said, everyone says it's discipline. He said, it's not discipline. It's devotion. He was so devoted to his craft that it drove his discipline to be great, right? When you love it, you will devote yourself to the work you're doing, to making an impact, to growing in your craft. When you love others, you won't quit on them. When you love your family, you don't give up on them. We know about what unconditional love does. And so love drives us to be great. It helps us be great for others. And it also helps us overcome the fear that we have that so often sabotages us and holds us back. I want you to know that fear that sets in that says, you're not enough. You'll never make this happen. You're not good enough. This is not in your future. The future is hopeless. You don't have all the skills. Your talk didn't go well. This one went bad, so guess what? The next one's going to go bad too. You have to understand that if you focus on loving the audience, loving the reader, loving others, loving the opportunity to do this work, what happens in those moments is fear dissipates. Love casts out fear. Fear dissipates, love takes over, and you perform at a higher level, and the audience receives that love. Pavarotti also said, everybody wants the audience to love them. He said, but I love the audience. When you love your audience and they feel that love, they will love you back. And that's the power of love in building a platform. It's about serving next. You have to serve others. When you love, you serve. And you have to understand, it's not about you, it's about them. You are the guide. They are the hero. I often say in my talks, I always say that, hey, I'm not the genius. The genius is in the audience. And I always truly believe that. I'm not the hero. The hero is in the audience. Your job is to unleash the genius and the hero in them. And so make sure when you tell stories, it's something that they can relate to. Make sure when you tell stories, it's something that's going to inspire them. It's going to encourage them, to help them be all that they are meant to be. You're here to serve their heart, serve their mind, serve their talent, serve their potential, and serve their growth. It's about serving them. A lot of speakers say they want to try to, oh, I got the audience to do this and I got them to do that. No, we don't want to manipulate our audience. We want to serve our audience. And when you serve them, they will feel the way you're there from them. And when you're promoting products, when you're promoting services, guess what? You need to promote it. You have an obligation to. Why? Because it's about intention. If you know that you have created something that can help their lives, help their work, help their career, you have an obligation to sell it to them. It's about intention, right? Intention to sell something that could better their life and improve their life and improve who they are, improve their family. And so whenever I talk about my books, whenever I talk about my programs, you better believe I'm selling it and I'm talking about it because I believe in it and I know it makes a difference. And when I get emails every week from people saying my books, my talks and so forth, my videos have helped, have inspired, guess what? That keeps me going and it confirms why I'm here and what I'm meant to do. So remember, you're here to serve, and don't be afraid to talk about your products. Don't be afraid to talk about your offerings. So often we get up there, we get hesitant. No, be bold, talk about it, do it from intention. And you might even say to the audience, because I do this often, I will even say, hey, I'm not here to sell you anything, but guess what? I didn't write this to sit on a shelf. I wrote it because I know it makes a difference, and I believe it will make a difference in your life. And I might even say, if you don't find it helpful, I'll buy the book from you. Sometimes I'll even say that. And I never get told or asked to buy their book from them. So that's serve. And then the last one is care. It's about caring more. And when you care, they feel it. The difference between average and greatness is care. When you care, they feel it, they know it. And caring comes from the heart. You can't fake it. You have to truly feel it in your heart. And when they know you care, that essence of who you are, the joy, the love, the passion, the purpose, the essence within you is what builds the masterpiece in your life. It's what builds the masterpiece in your work. And so caring is essential. So when they feel your love, they feel the way you serve, they know that you care about them. They will care about you. It is the greatest success strategy of all, right? Caring and loving and serving and caring is what builds your business and helps you grow. I hope these tips help you. If you want more information, visit me at johngordon.com, because I care and I'd love to impact you and help you in any way possible.
I love it, John. Hey, thank you, man. I stood out here for the last 10 minutes, and that was so profound. So powerful. I got a few questions that I want to ask, but I'm going to ask you backstage, because one of the things I have so much respect for in John is a couple of things. Number one, he's been in this for the long game, and very few people last the long game because they don't do what he just shared with those 3 words. The second thing that's so profound about him is this man is respected. You name people out in the world, and the respect that they have for him, including me, is high. Like, if I name people's names right now, you would be blown away. You'd be like, whoa. And it's because of how he shows up in this world. So backstage, I know we've got a treat with John Gordon joining us back there. John, thank you for that. It was so incredible, man. I could listen to you all day long, bro.
Hey, thanks, Pete. I appreciate you so much.
I'll see you backstage. Guys,
backstage.
Unbelievable. Give John Gordon some love. Not Jeff Gordon, John Gordon. Not Jeff Gordon, John Gordon. Give him some love. I love him. I love the man he is. Last year, I heard him speak a couple of times. He prayed over our prayer group one time, and I just love him. And I'm gonna make sure I get out to Florida, Jacksonville, to have some lunch or dinner with him for sure. Hey, listen, we got 2 final folks here. I'm so excited about our next guy here. Sean is the creator of YouTube Secrets, the easy way to build your personal brand and make money with YouTube. And so I'm excited because YouTube is a focus of ours moving forward. It hasn't been, but I've seen the power of what it does in Sean's business, and I am beginning to focus on it. But that's why I brought an incredible thought leader here today to speak about it. So for the next 18 minutes, will you give your undivided attention to Mr. Sean Cannell? Give it up for Sean. Give it up for Sean.
What is up, Platform Tour, man? I'm so fired up to be here. Listen, I know that you've already been like drinking from a fire hose of tactics, strategies, inspiration. I mean, drop one of your ahas in the comments, right? You're like, I got 500 ahas. This has been so amazing. And thank you, Pete, for that introduction and for the opportunity to be here. But man, get a fresh page of paper, open up that journal to a fresh page, because I actually brought a training today that's going to give you tactics that are going to help you build your platform. And so let's just get straight into it. And today we're talking about YouTube Secrets, the simple way to earn money and build your personal brand and business with YouTube. And right off up at the top, I want to give you a quick YouTube strategy to get started fast. You see, we're going to talk about 2 powerful approaches to build your platform. Secondly, in the second half of the training, we'll talk about how to start and grow your own YouTube channel. That's going to be more of a longer game approach. That's going to take more time, more energy. It's worth it. But I want to give you a quick strategy, and it's this: be a guest on other people's YouTube channels, right? And I know that John Lee Dumas was talking about that opportunity with podcasting. Before starting your own podcast, you could be on somebody else's podcast. So here's an example of, I actually had Pete come on a couple of our channels, and look at this, 9,371 views, 6,340 views. And at the time, he was talking about just his world-class genius of helping people get on stages and master their message and build their platform. And so think about your message being amplified by being on other people's shows. Here's me. I went on a podcast, and it's a video podcast. Write that down, because there's a lot of podcasters that are actually also publishing their content on YouTube. And this is Kerry Newhoff. He's actually kind of hidden in the corner there. He just uses Zoom and he records a video podcast. Well, I was able to talk about YouTube on his show. This is Heather. She's got a marketing video podcast, and she has different guests on there. Real basic software, real simple things. Friends, so many people are doing this. So here's your action item for this quick strategy. Find 5 to 10 YouTube channels that you could be a guest on and reach out. I mean, if you want more help on how to reach out, definitely take action on all the upgrades Pete's been talking about, because he's the best at getting on digital stages. He's the one that'll help you really figure out, right, how to reach out. But find 5 to 10. And this might not just be podcast channels, but it's people that are doing a video podcast. They're hopping on something like StreamYard or Zoom. And if they're aligned with your audience and you can add value and always come first with service, then this will be your shortest path to tapping into YouTube to really start building your platform. But what about starting your own YouTube channel? What about using your own YouTube channel to build your platform? Well, let's talk about it. And first of all, why YouTube? Sean, man, we've been hearing about a lot. There's all these social media platforms. There's all these different places I could build my platform, and they're all very powerful. What unique opportunities does YouTube offer? Well, first of all, right now, updated numbers, YouTube has 2.3 billion users worldwide, 2.3 billion active monthly logged in with a Gmail account. Let me know in the comments. Do you actually have a YouTube account where you can subscribe and comment? Friends of mine, they don't have accounts yet. My mom, she doesn't have a YouTube account, but she watches YouTube. So the numbers are even bigger in terms of consumption, but that is a massive audience. That means your ideal customer, the ideal person you want to help, is on YouTube. So why aren't you? Now listen to this. Forbes discovered that, believe it or not, and a quote from this article in Forbes, the total size of the creator economy is estimated to be a little over $100 billion. Now, this is people earning money just from actually being a thought leader, a content creator, an influencer on YouTube. YouTube alone expects a $30 billion stream of revenue at the end of 2021. Well, why would I care about how much money YouTube itself earns? That's how much money YouTube will gross, and YouTube is owned by Google. Well, the reason you should care is because half of that money goes into the creators' pockets. Those who have YouTube ads running on their, the split is about 50-50, and there's different variables. That means $15 billion goes into the pockets of people posting YouTube videos. And YouTube is a discovery machine. You might be saying, Sean, I'm building my platform, but one of my biggest challenges is no one knows me yet. I'm literally at zero. Well, the cool thing about YouTube is it's a great platform to get discovered. And when you think about Instagram or Snapchat or LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook, these are not major discovery platforms. What makes YouTube different? Well, YouTube's actually a search engine, and 70% of people go to YouTube looking for specific questions or trying to answer a specific problem. And so to illustrate this, quick story, I'm a small town kid. I actually grew up in Arlington, Washington, rural farm town. There I am climbing a tree. I mean, I don't know. A lot of us could probably relate here. You grew up pre-internet. That's when we would go outside. I mean, you remember the days when AOL was sending you free 2 hours of free internet time on a CD. You remember that? And you'd have dial-up internet, right? And so I grew up in a small town. In my high school, the majority of people in our school were in FFA, Future Farmers of America. It's a very rural community. So I really grew up around farming. I grew up around, we lived on 6 acres. We had farm animals, the whole thing. We had a garden. And of course, you kind of learn this somewhat forgotten practice in our modern world of planting seeds, watering them, but then you're patient. And over time, if you wait, then ultimately the seeds you plant will grow. Kind of reminds me of let's not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap if we don't give up, right? But like what YouTube is like, to illustrate this, is every video you put out strategically, and I'm going to show you how in this training, it actually is like a seed you plant that doesn't just produce one time, but becomes a tree that produces fruit for your business, your platform, for weeks, months, and years to come. Now let's get a little geeky and I'll show you an illustration of this. I posted this one video. This is analytics of a video in 2018. So you can see it was posted in 2018. This one video has generated 3.2 million views. It grew my YouTube channel by 45,000 subscribers. Now think about that. What would it mean to you to grow your platform, your followers, your email list, your base of subscribers by 45,000? Now, additionally, this video has actually paid me $20,000 from YouTube itself. And every 2 days, it gets almost 4,000 views. In fact, every 60 minutes, this video is viewed by 110 people. While I'm talking to you right now, over the next hour, 110 people will watch this video that I uploaded in 2018. Now, this is the power if you do YouTube right, because every video is like a seed, and the videos that grow and flourish, it's kind of like scattering lots of seed, and some grow. They turn into a fruit tree that can actually produce impact week after week, month after month, year after year. And friend, today I have hundreds of videos generating views, sales, and income, whether I post new content or not. So when I think about YouTube for the pillars, right, for communicating your message, for selling your products, for getting on stages, for generating passive income, for scaling your brand, for controlling the mic, I can't really think of any better platform than YouTube. I've been on stages because of YouTube, featured in Success, Forbes, like whatever publications. Book sales, over 70,000 copies of our books sold. No JV partners, no crazy ad spend, nothing really besides organic YouTube traffic. Featured in Forbes, grew multiple channels using this strategy. And of course, you might say, well, Sean, it might have worked for you. Like, it's kind of just a unicorn experience. No, we've helped hundreds of students now cross the 100,000 subscriber mark, where you get that silver play button. Thousands build full-time incomes and make a massive impact. But one of the reasons I love this platform tour is also because it's not just about the subscribers or the views, but because of the business we've built, a multi-million-dollar business. Right now, we're supporting 40 kids a month through Compassion International. Our team is able, which helps these kids attend and stay in school, get nourishing food, get mentoring in a safe environment through a local evangelical church. What's the point? The point is to be all in on YouTube because it is a platform accelerator. Okay, Sean, so how do you do it? Well, here's the simple strategy. I'm going to give you 3 types of YouTube videos, really simple videos to start posting, and you're going to kind of maybe be shocked by the simplicity, but you'll see how powerful this is. So write this down: ASQ, RSP, TSS. These are the 3 types of videos, and we'll define them: ASQ, RSP, TSS. All right, number 1, we'll hit them all. Answer specific questions. See, when we're posting videos on YouTube, what kind of videos should I post? Answer specific questions. What some people do is they get a little too fancy. And this video right here, what question is it? How to drill a hole into a wall. How to drill into your wall. That's 1.3 million views. So you might be trying to solve the problems of the universe, but what do people use YouTube for? They use it as a utility. And 1.3 million views, if you were a contractor, somebody that helps people do DIY stuff, this is almost too simple. It's the curse of knowledge. It's more simple than you would ever think to create. How to approach a girl works every time. Well, if it works every time, then I got to watch this video. 5.1 million views. ASQ, answer specific questions. Beginner workout made simple. 11 million views. Renting versus buying a home, the 5% rule, 2.6 million views. Now I have a little plug-in here that shows me that this channel, yes, it's got a good subscriber base, over 200,000, but the views are outpacing even the platform size, the subscriber size. Why? Because they're answering specific questions. What questions is your ideal person that you help asking? And you could turn them into one question, one video with the answer. Where to start when reading the Bible and how to read the Bible. 69,000 views, right? And one of the people I really understood this from was a guy named Dave Ramsey. Now, maybe you've heard of Dave Ramsey before, all kinds of different people in the personal finance space. Dave has built up his entire brand really and radio show answering specific questions. Like really ultimately gets on there. How do I pay off debt? Do I rent or buy? If I've got 80,000, if I make that, like he's just answering specific questions. He actually does it in a long form live stream, which you could do on YouTube. And then the questions are cut out. One question, one answer in each video. So what is a specific question you could answer on your YouTube channel? Remember, these are like seeds and you plant them. And then you also go, well, there's not much to see there. Well, no farmer would think that you plant a seed today and that by tomorrow that it would have grown into a forest. But as you put enough seed out there, you come back weeks, months, and even years later. And that's the power of YouTube. It's like a fine wine. It gets better with age. Like your channel begins to grow and the videos begin to multiply. And certain ones, they get crazy impact like this, 2.1 million views. Specific question, how do I make money if I have a small channel on YouTube? How do I make a video? 1.7 million views. And this is an important stat to know. 70% of viewers on YouTube are going to YouTube to help them solve a problem. So what are the questions surrounding the problem that you help? First pillar, clarity. The person that you help and the problem that you help them solve, you start turning those into videos. This is Nicole. She's a kids occupational therapist. She's grown a massive YouTube channel now and turned it into multiple streams of income. But she had one video about tummy time for newborns that got 3.2 million views. We recently just had our first kid, Sean Bradley Cannell, is 1 year old now. And clearly you could see I'm succeeding in fatherhood and clearly the leader in the family. No, obviously he's the one who's just stiff arming there like a football block. But now, see, I didn't care about tummy time for newborns until I had a newborn. And so when you start thinking about the person you're helping, right, it's like when the student is ready, the teacher appears. People are going to YouTube. How are they phrasing the question? Write that down. How are they articulating that? Turn that into content. What keeps them up at night? What is like, man, should I get this type of loan or that type of loan? Man, how should I deal with this tax issue? How did I get over this anxiety? How do I recover from this divorce? How do I decode what my partner is saying to me? All these different questions people are asking. And when the student is ready, they start looking for answers, and YouTube is one of the places they're going. Now, what's crazy is there's a lot of good ways to make money. I mean, dive deeper in the training here, and that'll help you really scale your revenue. But remember, YouTube's going to pay you as well. So I DM'd Nicole and I was like, hey, how much did this one video pay you? She said $7,525 just from this video she uploaded in addition to the courses she's built and the consulting she does and the mastermind she runs and all this other things. For us in the last 12 months, we're approaching 400 grand in YouTube ad revenue, which is just where this thing could scale to. And so number two, review specific products. Now, I know this might seem basic, and I know this might think you're like, Sean, I want to write a book. I want to impact people. I want to be on stages. Why am I reviewing products? Why? Because people are looking for specific products to solve specific problems. And they don't know you, but they know they want to find the product and it could lead them to you. So let's say you're in health and fitness. And so anybody have one of these massage guns? I love these things. I'm a runner, so recovering from running. So if you look up something like Theragun versus the Hypervolt massage gun, it's got 166,000 views comparing two different products. But let's say you have a fitness channel. Let's say you help people with health and wellness. Well, the person's mindset, if they're researching a massage gun, is that they want help with health and wellness of some kind. So reviewing products can be an entry point into your world and actually help you build your platform, and you can monetize it in the process. Because write this down if you're new to it, it's called affiliate marketing. So when you put a link in your description to this massage gun on Amazon and someone clicks that link, you actually make a commission on that in the process. But where people get a mistake, they think, wow, that's not the kind of business I want to build. I actually want to get people to my gym. You can do both. That's the power of RSP, review specific products. 1 million views talking about a couple cameras RSP, reviewing specific products. If you want to check it out later, CNBC did a mini documentary about how this small town kid, college dropout, just started reviewing specific products in his bedroom and had a $40,000 month from Amazon alone from RSP, review specific products. Jennifer isn't a great example. She does sewing products. Look at this. She has a sewing channel. She helps people with sewing, helping people enjoy sewing. And so she's talking about sewing machines, different things like that. 2 years. Remember, she planted a seed 2 years ago. She planted a seed 4 years ago, and she's gotten hundreds of thousands of views on these videos. They've built her platform talking about these embroidery machines and sewing machines, but she's also earned thousands of dollars as an affiliate for these products. And these videos work for her when she's not working, like a tree that grows. Once you plant the seed, you just let it take a life of its own. And so people do this in direct selling, network marketing, all kinds of different niches. We do about 60K every couple months from that. So you ask yourself this question: what products could you review or compare? And do they have an affiliate program? What products could lead people into your world and attract your ideal audience while also you're able to monetize? And then finally, final strategy is TSS, teach specific skills. Teach specific skills on YouTube. Lead with value. Give your best information away free that it could lead people into your world. This is Jen. She's got only 621 subscribers. Do you need 1 million subscribers? No. Do you need 1,000 even? No. Jen's doing about 10K a month. She's helping people with attraction marketing, teaching specific skills. This is Mary. Mary's in her legacy years. She's teaching people how to make apple cider vinegar. She's teaching people. She lives in Texas, and people, the kids come into her at her local church and they go, "You're a famous YouTuber," because she has over 500,000 subscribers teaching people specific skills in her kitchen, but she's leveraging the power of YouTube. And so I want to encourage you, you can apply these strategies. Answer specific questions, review specific products, and teach specific skills. When you plant those seeds on YouTube, the final thing you have to add to the equation is then patience and diligence. Because YouTube for sure is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And where a lot of your peers are going to miss out on the opportunity of YouTube, they're going to go off after shinier objects and things that get you results quicker. I'm all for the quick results, but YouTube is growing this deep root system. Sometimes the biggest towers have the deepest foundations. The biggest trees have the deepest roots. And so the power of YouTube is what we're experiencing in our business, and so many of our students, is by planting seeds today and watering them on YouTube. And then years later, you will be blown away by how impactful your platform is. Pete, I hope that was helpful. And man, I'm fired up about YouTube. I can't wait until we're able to get into your YouTube stuff more. And hey, if you want to connect more, then I would love to connect with you. I'm at Sean Cannell on social media, and really appreciate you having me. And thanks so much, Platform Tour. I love the heart and mission of this whole thing. And so I appreciate you so much. And thanks again.
Hey, Sean, thanks for being with us. I know you'll be backstage. I love those 3 types of YouTube videos that he talked about, the power of YouTube. And man, it's literally been like the single stage that has grown his business to where it's at today. And so super excited about that. And he will be with us backstage. So hey, everybody, we're down to the final guest today, and I am stoked about it. I want to give a shout out. We've got this translating in Spanish in Zoom on Facebook. I want to give a shout out to Dolores. She's been translating all day long. She hasn't stopped one day this week. We've got tens of thousands of Spanish-speaking folks that registered this week. First time we've ever done something in Spanish, and it's been unbelievable. We're also streaming in a couple of dozen groups, speakers groups. Sean has us in 3 of his groups today. And so this is the reach of Platform Tour is millions of people this week, and I'm super grateful for that. We're on our way to raising $1 million. This next gentleman I want to bring up to the stage doesn't really need an introduction, but I want to give an introduction that wouldn't be on most stages when somebody introduces him. They would talk about the fact that he's on the path to being a billionaire. He's unbelievable at sales. He's built a real estate empire. You know, some people would say he's polarizing. And I want to tell you my experience of him, because it's an experience that you don't see behind the curtain. It's an experience that, you know, people might say, you partner and you do things with Grant Cardone? Yeah, I do. And I'm very proud of it. Because this is a man that is creating a different possibility, not just for his family, but in the lives of millions of people. He might understand building a platform better than anybody on this tour this week. And when I go behind the scenes with him, my wife's like, what's it like to be with him? Like, tell me, is it the same guy I see like on Instagram or Facebook? I'm like, babe, anytime he's teaching behind closed doors, the knowledge and depth of this man, unbelievable. But here's the piece that I respect about him most. I've been in his home, both of his homes. And I see the husband and the father that he is. I was in a meeting with him and Jared Glant. We were in his office. His beautiful daughter came in. And sometimes parents can get impatient and be like, hey, you know, I'm in a meeting. And there wasn't anything more important to him than his daughter. Everything stopped except his daughter. And I'm telling you, like, that kind of like was the seal of the deal for me, because behind the scene, his family, he cares about his family, he cares about his customers, and he cares about his platform. And not just his platform, he's teaching his kids how to build their platform. He's taking them on business trips with them and taking them around the world and having them speak, putting them out in stages and having them step up to understand the importance of building their platforms. I'm asking on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, Backstage, Spanish, English, would y'all give a huge round of applause? I want them to see your body language for our VIPs backstage. To the one and only Mr. Grant Cardone. Give it up for Mr. Grant Cardone. Yeah. Let's turn him up. All right, G, I think there might be mute.
Dang.
There it is. Say it again, G. I hear you.
I just want to thank you so much, Pete, for such a warm, heartfelt introduction. I really, really appreciate that. And, you know, I love working with you. You and I have done a number of things together, and I know that we've made a difference. If my life ended tomorrow, I'd be like, Pete Vargas is one of the people that helped me reach more people and make a bigger difference in the world. Because at the end of the day, folks, you know, you can put all the money, the cars and the jets and the houses and all that stuff. But if you're not making a difference, none of that really, really matters at the end of the day.
G, everybody sees you today and they're like, wow, he's got, you know, I said 2 houses. He's probably got multiple houses and a plane and all of this. But I love how you got started in building your platform. Everybody's like, overnight success story. Yeah, I know his story 30 years ago. Like, talk about how you started building your platform, because it was a grind.
Yeah, well, so, you know, when you and I talked earlier today, I'm like, what do I know about building a platform, bro? And he's like, you know, I said, I didn't know anything. I think the most hopeful thing for everybody out there is, like, you guys got to understand, I'm 63 years old. So I didn't grow up with any internet tools. I didn't grow up with a phone. I didn't grow up with a computer. You know, I didn't grow up with an Apple products or apps. And I did not touch social media until I was 51 or 52 years old. It's only been 10 years really that I started even playing on social media. And at that time, I didn't have a team. There was no digital. There was no influencers. I mean, you had to be a ball player to be an influencer or a movie star. And I didn't know what a platform was. I thought a platform was something that Olympians used to go into the swimming pool, right? The diving platform. And so when you ask me, you know, to like talk about building a platform, number one, you just need a commitment. You guys just need a commitment to getting known. And then what I do is basically my commitment in 2010 became so ferocious. The big global reset, the financial problems of 2008, 9, and 10 were so severe, and they attacked me in so many different ways that it forced me much like COVID is probably forcing people today, it forced me to realize the weaknesses of my business and my brand. And at that time, you know that old saying, Pete, about the riches are in the niches, be good at one thing. Well, the problem with the niches, there might be some riches, but when the niche closes down, when the one lane closes down, you can't get to where you're going. And what I've always wanted to do is I wanted to create wealth for myself and my family so that I could make a difference. And some of you may know my story, but my dad died when I was 10 years old. And it was that lesson. When my dad died, he had done everything correct in his life. There was not one thing that he had done incorrectly. He saved his money. He was frugal. He made investments, small investments. He diversified everything by the book. He paid his house off. He had no debt on the cars. And then when he died, yeah, my mom had some money set aside, but she didn't have any income. And when the income stops, the fear starts. And for those of you who have financial fear or anxiety in your life, let me tell you something. Money will not make you happy, but it does resolve the anxiety. Income, new income, not money sitting in a bank account. And I know I'm talking about money right now, but you got to understand that money follows attention. And if you have a good product or good service, you have to get attention first. Money does not come first. And so when my dad died, my mom did not know how to go out and get attention. So only thing she knew how to do was to save money. And saving money is a defense game. And internally, everybody knows internally that saving money does not create confidence, because money can be used, it can be destroyed, it can be manipulated, it can be lost, and it can be devaluated. So fast forward to 2008, I had built a couple of businesses that were pretty solid. I had no social media following. I was in the niches. I was two verticals, basically one vertical with two businesses in one vertical. And I was the king of that one vertical. It was me and another guy that kind of chopped up the entire market. And I was doing consulting at the time. Outside of that market, no one knew me. No one knew me in real estate. No one knew me in finance. No one knew me in like any of the other genres that you guys see me talk about or parenting. Much of what Sean was talking about. Nobody knew me for anything except I was a sales guy in the automotive industry. And so when I sat down and looked at what I had done wrong, because the income was stopping, much like when my dad died, the income was stopping for my two businesses. And my little bit of real estate that I had was the only thing providing me with a drip. So I went into my office. I took responsibility for the situation I created, even though I had nothing to do with the meltdown. I did have something to do with having a small business that had a niche. And when that vertical slammed shut, so did the income. And then I realized how vulnerable I was. And the mistake I had made was I was not known in health. I was not known as a parent. I was not known in real estate. I was not known in influence marketing. I was not known in advertising like I am today. I wasn't known in real estate investing. I had kept a secret all the other things I was doing in my life. So I told my wife, Pete, I said, Elena, I just got to get known in all these other verticals. Anything that I'm good at, anything that I'm experienced at, anything that I failed at, I need to get known. And craziest thing happened. Like I made this ferocious spiritual internal commitment. I am going to become famous. I am going to be known for something. I didn't even know what it was. A day later, Pete, a guy's in my office and he's like, hey, have you heard of YouTube? And I was like, YouTube, bro, I don't need to watch video. I got to get people to know me in the furniture business. I need to get people to know me at Morgan Stanley. And he's like, no, man, you need YouTube. And I'm like, get out of my office, man. I don't have time for this. And so that was 8,000 videos ago. He walked out of my office and I realized how closed-minded I was. For all of you watching right now, congratulations for being here. And now that you're here, there's a little trick I use. Every time my mind shuts on something, like I don't have time for that. You know, that grandpa kind of, I don't have time for something new. Every time I have that, or something negative against another person or an institution, like, oh, that's stupid. When I have that kind of negative reaction to anything, I know that there's something on the other side of that door.
Wow.
It has never let me down, Pete, ever. And when that guy walked out of my office, I'm like, I need to check this YouTube thing out. Okay. And I started pinging out videos every day. I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't know how to build a platform. I didn't know anything about SEO, titling, tagging, length of videos. Dude, I've made every mistake. I broke every rule. And today, you know, we have probably in 10 years, 11 years, I guess now, there's 15 million people that follow me on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. And there's probably another 150 million that refuse to follow me, but still watch me. Understand that for every subscriber, there's probably another 10 to 50 non-subscribers that you have a chance to reach if you're really creative.
Grant, I love what you said. You said anything I knew, anything I was good at, anything I failed at, I said I'm gonna go, that's what I'm gonna go and open up in the market. And I actually think what I've learned from you is a lot of people are like, product this, and products are important, but not if you don't have attention. How did you get attention? Like, how does Grant Cardone think about attention, omnipresence? Because it feels like you're everywhere. It feels like, I mean, now Grant's in my dreams and I'm like, what's going on? Like, he's everywhere. Like, how do you do that?
So look, it all starts with the commitment. Like I say this all the time, anything I want to do in my life, it never starts with the mechanics. It never starts with the how-to. It never starts with the system or the organization. I was having this conversation with my partner, Brandon Dawson, the other day. And he was going into, okay, we got to do this and this and this and this. Me, Jared, and Brandon were we were at a private health club in Cabo San Lucas, beautiful place. And they're in there chopping it up about, we got to do this and we got to do that. I'm like, guys, when you guys are done with all that BS, okay, and you want to know how to turn this bad boy on, you guys go ahead, exhaust your little to-do list, your A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And when you're ready and you're open-minded, I'll tell you how to get there. And they're like, okay, we're ready. I said, number one, where do we want to go? Without knowing how to get there. If we get that fortified, if we get that so strong, man, so strong, branded into our own minds, what is the target? What is the commitment to a target? Once you're committed to a target, folks, you will get there. You might not know how to get there. What vehicle? Maybe it's going to be a horse. You're going to walk. You're going to run. You're going to ride. You're going to hitchhike. Who knows? Maybe somebody's going to drag you over there. Once you know where you want to go and have a commitment so deep, then the how-to will happen. Sean talked about this. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When you make a commitment so severe, you know, I kept wanting to get on TV shows. This is the problem with the how. The problem with the how is you're going to pick a vehicle that you're going to be dependent upon. And when that vehicle, in my case, it was TV. I wanted to be on the news. When that vehicle fails you, okay, you're going to like, okay, I can't get there. I can't be famous. I can't be known. I can't be omnipresent. So when I got out of, okay, I need to be on Fox or CNBC, or I need to be an expert on the business channel. When I got out of the how-to and said, hey, I am going to make my name known, consistent with, when I think sales, I think Grant Cardone. When I think real estate, I think Grant Cardone. When I think influencer, I think Grant Cardone. We've been through every one of these titles, by the way. Like I was so grooved in on sales, Pete, that I actually had to leave it because I was being typecast into a sales guy. So if you look at my career, I was typecasted as, well, first of all, I was nobody. Then I was typecasted as a sales guy. Then I moved over and got typecasted as a money guy. Then I got typecasted. Today, I'm probably typecasted as a real estate guy. And along the way, we've been typecasted as somebody that can fill up arenas with 35,000 people. I'm working right now on 50-year-olds and above. You're going to see me drop a whole bunch of video for people 50 years and older because we ignored that audience. And you'll see me start talking a lot about health, retirement, income, things that are happening to me right now. Just what Sean was talking about. Like, you just got to find what you're good at and what you're terrible at and what you don't know anything about, and make a commitment to getting known for those things, because you're not going to figure out your message in the beginning. You do not know your message yet. Anybody that thinks they know their message right now, trust me, you do not know your messaging. Until you tell your story 10,000 times, you won't even know what people want to hear.
Dude, that is so good. So you've just fortified this next thing. You don't even know the how to. You just fortified, I'm about to go reach 50-year-olds, and now you're going to go do, I mean, there's no how to. You've just made that decision and commitment, and now we're about to know you for something else in another vertical, in another industry. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, yeah, 1,000. I'm about to crack healthcare wide open. So, like, I've always wanted to be on Men's Health, right? I saw a Men's Health magazine once. I'm like, I want to be on the cover of that magazine. But you see, the goal's too small. And this is the whole 10X mentality. Dude, I don't really want to be on a magazine cover one time. I mean, I do, okay? But really what I want is I want to be known for healthcare. I want to be known for staying young. I want to be known for getting rid of pain. I want to be known for, stopping the aging process. And I want to build a business around that. But if they don't know me, I can't build a business. Like, I say this all the time, man. You could take the most famous people in the world, bring them back you could bring Jesus here today, and he could have the holy bread and a miracle and make the blind see. But if nobody knows him, look, if they don't know you, they're not going to trust you. And trust does not come first. Knowing me, not trusting me, I'd rather you not trust me than not know me. And so the first thing, the most important thing is that you guys get known. And there's so many ways to get known today. These platforms did not exist when I started. They showed up as I committed. And more things will show up. Clubhouse and audio's out there right now, and it's freaking hot, man. It's amazing. So first you got to commit. I just tell you guys, first commit, number 2 commit, number 3 commit. Once you committed, then you promote. Number 1, you promote, then you promote. Number 2, you promote, and number 3, you promote. So if you could just dig in, just like go seriously, like become a maniac on your commitment level. And many of you are going to have difficulty with this. The thing that's going to stop you is the people that love you.
Wow.
Your spouse is going to tell you, please don't bring too much attention to the family. Your family members are going to say, what are you doing on Facebook and Instagram? You look like an idiot. Like, I've heard all this from my family. And when you have a commitment to want more and do more, the same people are going to tell you not to. They're going to try to talk you out. Listen to what I'm telling you. The people that love you the most are going to give you the worst advice.
Wow.
And those are the same people that are going to be offended by your commitment to promoting. And mostly it is because they didn't do it. So because they didn't do it, they're gonna be confused about why you are doing it.
Grant, why is it so easy? Why is it so easy for us to promote and talk about all these other things, this product I love, or this service I love, or this thing I bought from Grant? But then when it comes to promoting ourselves, like when I stepped into it, I would promote Rachel's challenge like nobody's business. It's so easy for me to promote you. But then when I start at the beginning, not now, but at the beginning, I was afraid to promote myself. Like, and so many people are. Why is that?
Well, I think it's partially it's education, miseducation. I think all our problems are because we're miseducated. Anytime I'm having problems with anything, Pete, anything in my life, and I have plenty of problems, right? There's, nothing's come to me very easily. So for those of you who are just meeting me in the last year or two, dude, I've been hammering at this game for 40 years. I failed at it the first 28 years. And the success I'm having today is really about what I've done in the last 8 or 9 years, not the first 20. So anytime I'm having a problem with anything, the first thing I ask myself is, what is it I think is true that's not? What is it I'm doing that I believe is right that is actually wrong? What is it I learned that I have been living by as a code that no longer works for me in my life? And man, when I share this with you, you know, I'm like, I start thinking about all these things I had to unlearn. And you know, if you guys think you're right and you're not getting where you want to go, you got to decide whether you want to be right or get where you need to go.
Wow. What's an example of one of those in the last maybe few months? I mean, I'm sure there's something in the last few months that comes to mind of something.
Oh man, my God. I mean, we could talk for an hour on this, right? So on the social media stuff, like be seen and not heard, you know, be humble. You know, most of the people watching this right now, if you were in church the way I was as a kid, you know, I was taught humility, be humble, stay humble. The problem with that is if you look up the word, I'm just going to look it up right now. Most people haven't looked the word up because once you look it up, clear it for yourself. Humble, having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance. I'm reading this from the dictionary just so you guys know where I'm getting this from. Having or showing a modest or low estimates of one's importance. Okay, can you imagine this ad? Hey, my name's Grant Cardone and I am of modest or low importance. Or you're selling a product. This product is modest at best. You should have low estimates of its expectations to deliver on its goodies, right? The word actually comes from lowly, that you're a lowly person, and lower in dignity or importance. So look, when you're operating with some of these misunderstandings, you know, to be humble means you're not willing to brag about your products or your accomplishments. So that's why bad news wins. And notice what we do in a society to anybody that speaks highly of their own accomplishments. But look, if your product's good, you need to tell people. If you have a solution, you need to tell people.
Yep.
And then we get into, oh, you can't make big claims, can't promise anything, can't guarantee anything. We guarantee every product we sell here. Like, if you don't like it, just send it back to us. I got a 100% guarantee policy on everything we do.
Wow.
And so be seen and not heard, you know, don't brag, don't show off. All these things keep you guys from promoting yourselves. Sales is a bad thing. How many times, Pete, have you heard somebody say, I'm not selling you something?
Yeah.
I had Steve Harvey do that on my stage. Hey guys, I don't have anything to sell you. And I told Steve Harvey, I said, you'll never come back here if you don't have something to sell them next time. Because shame on you, man. You got all this intelligence. Why don't you take the time to put it in to lay out what you have, Steve Harvey, and have it so people can take it home with them or listen to it on their phone. So I had to undo that. I had to undo this idea, Pete, that promoting myself was a bad thing.
Yeah. What about the misconceptions on money? Because I love a lot of the stuff I've learned from you on money. Talk about that just a little bit.
So look, I was brought up remember the story about my dad. My dad saved his money. My dad paid his house off. My dad paid the cars off. My dad was known only in one space, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Anybody knew my dad? They said, man, your dad was a great man. My dad did not expand his brand. When he died, the name died. Okay, when he died, the income died. When he died, the debt did not help my family. The fact that we had no debt, that being zero debt when you die is not bragging rights. When you die, you're like, oh man, I died debt free. That's nothing to brag about. That doesn't help your family. So in fact, if you're going to die today, you ought to have a bunch of debt. You know, have as much as you can. And some of you right now, man, you crazy, man. You guys shouldn't be buying houses. You should be investing in your brand. Nobody's going to know you because of the house you bought. Nobody knows Warren Buffett because he bought one home in his whole life. So people are going to know you because you have something to say and you have something to accomplish and you're out there changing lives and you're making a difference and you got this little spin on something that causes people to think different. So the way we were all educated about money, Pete, and you and I have talked about this a bunch, the way you and I have been educated about money benefits the banks. You know, Wells Fargo, they got a bank on every street corner in America. And then they run ads all over the internet. You cannot go on the internet without having Wells Fargo spank you. Hey, we're right over here to take your money. Trade your 40 hours, get a paycheck, and bring it to us over at Wells Fargo. So that's what I was doing, man. I was literally trading time for money, bringing the money to the bank, and the bank was taking the money and lending it out to the rich people. So that's what we're doing. Let me show you what we're doing right now. We're turning this, Pete. We're turning Grant Cardone Sales University into 10X Kids University.
Wow.
Now, if I don't tell everybody about that, your kids are going to have to keep listening to the same BS in the 12 years, probably with a mask on. Okay. They're going to have to sit in their little wooden chair or plastic chair and listen to somebody talk to them about algebra and trigonometry, geography, rather than learning about how do I have confidence? How do I look somebody in the eye? How do I communicate? How do I negotiate? How do I follow up? How do I handle rejection and disappointment? How do I stay motivated without getting medicated? How do I stay on purpose? How do I dream big? How do I make big dreams come true? Like, because if you don't have those things, you can be the smartest coder in the world. It won't matter.
Wow. Grant, go that a couple more questions. This is so good, dude. I have seen you be a lot more intentional and even the legacy. Like I see Elena just stepping into her greatness and I see your daughter starting to step in, but that's intentional by you. Talk about the legacy, because all of us that are parents, my son's got his 10X hat at the house. He's stoked that I'm interviewing you today. Like, we all want to leave legacy behind in our kids, man. And so talk about like what you're doing to be intentional about that, because I can see it everywhere. I see it when I'm at your home, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, you call it a legacy and I just call it a life. You know, like I'm not trying to, like I never went after branding. Just so you guys know, like, if you sat around with me and just, you know, we just sat around and had a beer or something, I've never thought about building a legacy or branding. I never, like, until this word became popular in the last couple of years, I wasn't thinking about how to brand myself. I was thinking about how to create a life for myself. So when like, for instance, when we bought the plane, okay, I didn't buy a plane because I wanted my name on the tail. I bought a plane because I wanted my kids with me. I wanted to be able to go places and go on business trips and bring my kids with me. And it wasn't to teach them the business, even though that'd be cool if they learn the business. They're not going to learn it. They're not going to learn how to run my business at school. But that's not why I took them out of school. We started homeschooling our kids because I wanted my damn kids with me while they're willing to be with me. And you got about 12 or 15 years where you're like, hey, bro, you're going to hang with me, right? And they're fun to be with. So when I bring my kids to work, man, it's because I want to be with my kids. And every business that I have today, Pete, and you know this, I do what I want to do in my business.
Yep.
I don't do businesses that I don't want to do. I don't do business with people I don't want to do business with. If I don't like the people I'm doing things with, I don't do it, okay? And I'm a great partner. I'm a terrible enemy. Everything in between, I don't even know you exist because I'm trying to build a life for myself. And so if I want to go to Sydney and Singapore and Malaysia and spend 2 months there, I have built all my businesses so that I can go fund that activity and have fun while I'm doing that activity.
Wow.
And it just so happens I love my kids. I like hanging out with them. So that requires a different lifestyle though. This goes back to the commitment thing, right? You guys got to commit. What is it you want? If you want to be famous, why?
Yeah.
See, when I watch the Kardashians, I'm like, man, you know what? And nobody ever gives them credit for this. The reason the Kardashians blew up so big is because the entire family is on the same page. Okay, there's not one success in their family. There's like 5. And I'm not saying you guys are going to be the Kardashians. So, because you can ridicule them all you want, but there's their entire family is on the same page. They're like, let's tear ourselves up on TV so everyone knows us, so that we can actually be a better, stronger family. And they have major influence today. But that's a long game that you got to be willing to pay. You got to take a lot of ridicule. And many of you out there don't want the ridicule. You don't want the haters. You don't want the negative comments. And I just know for a fact, if it was not for my haters and the negative comments, most of you wouldn't even know who I am today.
Wow. Yeah.
So
that's been consistent this week. Emmett, Floyd, Sarah, like everybody, like you're going to have them. And the more you have, the bigger impact and the bigger life that you're creating for yourself too.
Yeah, and I rarely block them, man. I use them. Ain't nothing like a good hater. So people call me polarizing. I'm not polarizing. It's the people that don't like what I'm saying that are trying to polarize. So last time I checked, I could have an opinion. And if you guys don't have opinions, you're not going to get known for anything, by the way. If you try to win both sides, you'll win no one. Strong. Now Pete does a better job of walking both sides than I do. I firmly go to a side. And I'm not doing that because I'm trying to brand. I'm doing that because, one, I believe in, I exercise a position.
Yeah.
And brand, man. When I think about a brand on cattle, right? It's seared into. You cannot sear a calf without being committed to a hot, poke, and stick. It's got to stay there for a second. Like if you want to brand something, it's got to punch, it's got to be hot, it's got to sear, and you got to stick it. You got to stick it so hard that I can't shake it out of my head. You just cannot do that on the internet. With the internet so big, you guys are trying to share advice. I'm going to give you some advice today, but you're not searing. You got to penetrate on your advice. That means you need to have an opinion, at which point people are going to jerk back from it, just like you would a hot poke.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
You do a much better job, Pete, of making sure everybody's got a warm and fuzzy. You have that talent. I don't have that.
Yeah, but it's not a talent. It's also something that I stand for too. And here's kind of what I stand for. And as you're saying this, I love what you're talking about, because the stand and the opinion I have is that I've been called to love everybody. Now, whether you believe that or you don't believe that, I don't care. I love everybody, even to the point where they push me away. Like, I feel like I have to constantly show up before somebody actually trusts that. And I'm going to keep showing up and showing up and showing up as long as the door's open, and they're going to see the love sooner or later. So I do have an opinion about something. It's just different. It's different than other people. And some people think that's bogus. Like, you can't love everybody. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, no, I know you can, because that is the guy that you are. So I guess I'm talking to the audience about, like, if you guys are looking for content, when you guys are content blank, like you're like, I have writer's block, I have content block, right? It is because you have a commitment issue.
Yeah.
Creativity follows commitment. You don't get creative without a commitment. So there's no such thing as writer's block. I can write a book in 2 hours if I'm committed.
Yeah.
And I know some of you thinking, oh, that's ridiculous. Nobody can do that. I've done 3 books in under 3 hours. I did Seller Be Sold was written in 3 hours and 15 minutes. The Millionaire booklet was written in under 2 hours. I mean, we were selling copies of the Millionaire booklet in 15 minutes after I thought about it.
Wow.
So when you're highly committed, creativity will just like Like it'll just, so when your creativity's blocked, just, you got to ask yourself, do you have a commitment issue, or is somebody in your neighborhood suggesting that you have too much commitment or something's wrong with you?
I love that. Grant, last thing before we go backstage, just for about 10 minutes, last question for you. So everybody's watching, and my big things from you is commit, 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 promote, promote, promote. Like that's the big two things you've said around building your platform. Any other final thoughts around just the idea of building your platform that you want to leave everybody watching this with?
And then last thing is you got to execute on these two simple things every day. What am I committed to? What am I going to promote today? What am I committed to? What am I going to promote today? So, you know, when you start running a lot of things like I'm running, I got 8 businesses I'm running right now, a couple of startups, brand new. Like the startups drive you crazy because, you know, nothing's the way you want it yet. I'm doing a $750 million real estate deal as I speak. That's $750 million, biggest deal I've ever done. And I'm like, okay, I wake up, what am I committed to? What am I going to promote today? How do I execute on those two things? And execution, if you look up the word execute, it means to kill something. It doesn't mean to do something.
Wow.
And, you know, as brutal as you can take that word, execute, this is why so many people fail, by the way, to carry out or put into effect a plan, order, or course of action. Carry out a sentence of death. You know, I want to kill the target. All right. I want to get it done. I want to follow up, pursue it, punish it. I want to punish the target. And I know some of you, that might be too much testosterone for some of you, but when you want to finish something, the women know what I'm talking about. When you're ready to have that baby, you're like, man, I just want to get this done. Like, let's get it done. If it's ugly and it's painful, man, just get through it, guys. Quit being a victim and like get through it, finish it.
Finish is a key word, bro. Finish. Like I feel like you finish what you what you commit to, you finish it. Like it's finished, it's done.
Well, look, Pete, last thing I'll say before we go backstage, but the one thing that people say about me today, I mean, I know some of the stuff that people say about me. You probably hear more of it than I do, right? Because they won't tell me to my face. But there's nobody. The haters and the critical, there is no one that doesn't think I won't pull it off. Because even the doubters are like, you know, that some bitch is probably going to he's probably going to do it. And that is very, very important for everybody to start. You need that confidence inside yourself. Whether it's picking up the dishes tonight and finishing the kitchen, man, I don't go to bed without the kitchen being clean. My mama taught me that lesson. We eat, we clean the dishes, we put them away. And if you guys take that on every task, the bed, the dishes, the sales call, you know, when you get off a sales call, if you don't know where you're at, call the people back. Hey, what happened? Why didn't you do it? What could I do to get you to do it? Execute. See it all the way through. Last thing on the top of the last thing. Execute also means you need to get rid of the people around you that aren't supporting your dream. You need to get rid of them. Quit trying to convince them and get rid of them.
Dude, I love that. I love that. G, what I want to do today, and I've done it static for Emmett and Floyd, but I want to do it actually bigger than static for you. I love what the Grant Cardone Foundation is doing to support kids without fathers, and fathers in their life has a lot to do with your background and you losing your father. And so I want to do 2 things for that, Grant. Number 1, I gave all of them one time, like small tokens just to say thank you. But I want to, give a $25,000 gift to the Grant Cardone Foundation like I did last year. And and 2, I want to build you in. This whole week is about all of the profits going back to charity. The Grant Cardone Foundation is getting built into that too. So the dividends of that, it will be one of the ones that we divide the profits of this week back to the Grant Cardone Foundation as well too, man. So
man, Pete, I can't thank you enough for that. And I'll tell you guys just on the sneaky, on the down, how many people are on this right now?
Well, I mean, thousands on all of the channels.
Yeah. So I get a phone call, just real quick. I get a phone call from a guy recently, about 3 weeks ago, actually, 19 days ago. And he says, hey, man, I got some families in Afghanistan. He's like, look, you can't tell anybody about this. The State Department cannot help these people. And, you know, when we pulled out over there, the Grant Cardone Foundation raised about $700,000 in the following 20 days that we have sent over there to get families out of Afghanistan that are left behind. These are kids, man. There's kids that are getting separated from their family. They're coming to America. Some of them are Afghanistanian and some of them are Americans. And they need a place to go. So we do a lot of good around the world. We put 350,000 kids in South Africa through our program already. We got kids going through here in Miami and some other major urban cities. So I really appreciate your help. You're always there for us, bro. You're fantastic. And I just love working with you.
Yeah, I do too, Grant. I love working with you. Glad to call you a friend and a partner. Hang out for 2 minutes. We're going to go backstage with all of those that have already started to donate while I ask all of the rest to do a donate one final time for the day. So, gee, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Guys, give it up for Grant Cardone! Give it up for Grant Cardone! Yeah! Yeah, I see y'all doing a little 10X up there. Hey, listen, I want to go backstage here really quickly, guys. Let's get these slides up. I want to go backstage with Grant. We got a powerhouse backstage today. So let's get these slides up really quickly here. So I want to go back. Listen, here's the deal. These 6 pillars. Steve Weatherford, thank you for kicking us off with clarity. Ray, thank you for kicking us off with content and communication. Angelique, thank you for consulting. John Gordon, Sean, Grant, all talked about stages and awareness and experience. John talked about revenues. Grant, you understand why he's scaled to where he's scaled today. We gave you a lot today. These are full days. Yesterday, I went and crashed. These days are taking everything out of me. And listen, Sean is adding his YouTube course to the gold package. That wasn't there. You want a YouTube channel? You heard Grant talk about a YouTube channel. He's adding that to the gold package. Angelique's adding her consulting to the gold package. Consulting to the gold package. So there are packages being added. This thing, the bronze, gold, silver, and gold have $25,000 plus of our speakers' digital resources. Jesse Itzler doing a masterclass. Sarah Blakely gave you a gift yesterday. Like, it's unbelievable. And that's the reason why on Sunday night, these packages aren't going away until Wednesday. But on Sunday night, I will raise the prices $100 because the value is almost doubling because speakers saying, I want to contribute. I want to support organizations like I'm proud to be able to give to the Grant Cardone Foundation and Emmett Smith and all of these others. And so I'm asking you, make a commitment today. Stop getting outside of your head. When Grant says when that thought comes, you might need to ask yourself, like, I got to believe in myself a little bit more. Like, this is a shirt I wore today. My family and I have been watching a lot of Ted Lasso because it's funny. But the thing that he says is belief. Grant said commit. Well, in order to commit, you got to believe. You got to believe. And some of you aren't believing in yourself. And what we put together for you at platformtourcares.com is going to help you build your platform. It is the PhD on building your platform. So go do that. Hey, our homework winner, I'm so proud of him. I'm not gonna play the video. He pitched his self to me to be on my podcast. He knocked it out of the park. I want our team to pin this. He followed the perfect pitch exactly in the group last night. And he's gonna be on my podcast. And I'm going to send this pitch of his to John Lee Dumas as well and see if I can put him on Entrepreneur on Fire's podcast as well. He did the homework. He won. Nate Scott, congratulations. Jinder King, congratulations. Chris Parker, congratulations on doing the homework. I'm going to ask you something. Based on Grant today, your homework is based on Grant. I want to know what you are committed to, and I want to know what you're going to do so far from what you've learned to go promote that commitment. What are you committed to, and what are you going to do to go promote that? What are you committed to, and what are you going to go do to promote that? I want those in the Facebook group. I want those in the Facebook group. They're going to be unbelievable. We're going to give away a whole platform starter kit that will build out your lighting and everything at your house. We're going to give out a lot of strategy sessions as well. So make sure you go and do that homework. Just a reminder, one final time today for everybody watching across social. Look at all of these things. Look at the bronze. Look at the silver. Look at the gold package. These aren't my things. These are our speakers' things. Like Jesse Itzler added something to it. $5,000, $11,000, and almost $25,000 worth of value. 100% of the profits going back to charity. We have added, another charity to the mix today, the Grant Cardone Foundation. I'm proud to help get some families out of Afghanistan. I'm proud of what he's doing in South Africa. I'm proud of what he's doing in Miami for some of the kids in the inner cities there in Miami, because I know what he's doing. And so that is something that you will be contributing to while contributing to your mind and your heart. So guys, make sure you go to platformtourcares.com. platformtourcares.com. Look at all these amazing things that our speakers are giving. And then tomorrow, I'm excited. We're going to talk about costly mistakes. This is going to be pretty powerful, costly mistakes that are costing you in your business and how to get some of that money back in your business. We're going to be talking with Chandler Bolt on how to write your book and write it quickly like Grant talked about today. My buddy Pedro is going to be talking about challenges. The great Vilma Nunez is going to be talking about how to build organically on social media. Rudy, who runs all of the ads for Tai Lopez and many other major brands, is going to be talking about how to use paid media to get attention. And then Grant's buddy, who I know Damon has so much respect for Grant and vice versa, is going to be talking about building your personal brand. Remember, Sunday night, these packages go up because the value continues to skyrocket on them. So make sure you go to platformtourcares.com. We're back to you Friday. We're back to you Saturday. And then I'm excited because on Sunday, we'll have Tim Tebow and Bethany Hamilton with us on Sunday as well. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Platformtourcares.com. We're going backstage.